Would you guys do a alternative work week time, such as like of these two options, a 4-10, which is you work 4 days a week, 10 hours a week, but you get Fridays off, or would you rather work a um, I think they call them 980s, they call them, where you work 9 hours a day, and if after you work 80 days a week, 80 hours on that Friday, you can take it off. So
Oh
instead of it being
God.
like consistent 10 hours and like longer days, you get every Friday off. You work a little bit less, and then you get every other day off, every other week off.
Every, it's every other Friday, right?
Every other Friday. That's what I meant.
Yeah,
Sorry.
that's how David's work runs.
I like that a lot. I would do a 4 night, 980 or whatever it's called. It seems just like a very
TI 1080.
do anything.
Yeah, well, I mean, as someone who doesn't have like a very set work week ever, I think I would opt for the latter one just because technically it's less. Although, like, you need to factor in like any type of breaks you get, as long as both adhere to like standard legal break
You basically
laws.
go in either an hour early or 2 hours early. And like I'm asking more just like as a person. Could like is that okay? Like would you do that? Because to me, God, dude, like Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, 8 to 5 is so much time. It's terrible, and it's just like everyone else follows the exact same schedule. So their busy time and their time they're free is the time I'm probably busy and I'm free.
I have my productive answer, and I have my me answer, my real answer. My real answer is I would not do either. Uh
Correct.
yeah,
Correct.
my like productive answer for this conversation, I think it would still be better to work less hours, even if it's that doing the 980. I know that it like results in every other week you having a Friday off, which isn't doesn't seem that ideal, but um I don't know. Any days off any week is good in my opinion.
I have a buddy who does the 410s, and he's like he gets to be at work by 6. So and then he leaves at, or is it 6 or 5? And yeah, 6 to 5 because of lunch and all the other shit.
Fuck
That's a
lunch.
long time. And I'm like, what do you do Friday? He goes, oh, I rest on Friday for the most part, and then I have Friday night. And like, I'm like, so you're doing like he has basically just like a day to recover, which seems nice, but I feel like you kill yourself a little bit extra every week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the 9 will still do that to you. It's not like the extra
I don't know,
hours.
man. If I could be like, here, I'm gonna shave off an hour of your day to sleep more. You get an extra hour to sleep every day. That's important, right? Like,
I could pretty easily work 9 hours. I basically work 8:30 anyway. So
yeah, like another 30. It's just adding 30 minutes, or we're going in early, avoiding all the traffic of the shitty times. And
no
but you
such
leave at the
thing, my
same time.
friend.
That's true.
Traffic
I mean,
is forever.
Don't I know it?
yeah. I mean, I think either case is just I think the 980 is just marginally better, like just barely, because they're both really rough. I think. I
I
mean,
don't
like
know.
unless if you're doing like 5 hours a day, that's manageable because you can have a life. Even if you did 5 hours a day, 5 days a week, but you had your shifts shifting, you wouldn't make nearly as much money probably, but that is healthy-ish, right? It's like 5 hours of your time every day is not overbearing. Um,
Are you arguing we should work 5 hours a day a week? Yeah, obviously I like that idea better. That seems
yeah, well, I
way
mean, like,
cooler.
that's also an option. I mean, like, you're
Well,
not
yeah, but like it
Is it
also
though?
isn't an option. Like it also totally we can say no work should be done and everything should be free and like that's also an option. I'm
See,
saying
I
like
guess
in the real work like that I've experienced, those are the three examples of acceptable, currently acceptable to our corporate America that I've seen the 9 to 5, Salary 24/7, I guess, is another one. Salary, just work whatever the fuck you got to do to get your job done, deadline time. 9/10s or whatever the fuck, and then the other one.
Yeah, I basically do salary right now, and it's not perfect, but I think it's my favorite out of those.
I don't know. I couldn't. I If I had an office, I could do it, and like I would need to not work from home to do salary. I think. Like
Yeah,
I would need to be
that's important.
like at least an office or something
I'm sure
in
there
my
are so many
home.
salaried. I'm sure there are so many salaried folks who like who do very little work, which I'm not blaming them, but I mean like that's also symptomatic of like COVID lately. Like the last 2 years have really fucked that.
I was talking to my dad about what we could do with the new house. And he's like, we were thinking maybe doing an Airbnb for like a year or something, try stuff out. And I was like, in the weekdays, you could offer it as kind of like a free work from home space for like people. Basically, just like, let's say us three lived in the same area, but we didn't want to work at the house. We could work at this other location, basically like a library, but for like adults and like people that don't work together. Like, oh, here's my dad. Like, does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't think you could legally advertise it as such.
Oh no,
but
but like that was just like an I wishful, like it basically just be like a cafe. I just make it a cafe, and like
yeah,
yeah. But it seems like I'm just like I just want to work with my friends, but like we all don't work together. Like, but I want to spend time with people that aren't part of my job, so that way when I'm working with my job, like there's days where you're just like, oh god, I don't want to see, I don't want to see my coworkers today. And then yada.
I only work with like 2 other people, and I guess I can see not wanting to see your coworkers, but I definitely have. Whenever I hear people talk about them interacting with their coworkers, I definitely have never really had that experience because we're all just pretty quiet people at my office, so we don't chat all that much except when we
Yeah.
go to lunch together or whatever.
I guess a question since we're on this topic that would be interesting is, would you rather do gig economy or hourly or salary? Because gig economy is totally fucked. Gig economy is like salary without the guaranteed pay.
Yeah,
Uh,
I guess it depends on what my job is, right? Like I don't know what I could do that would be gig possible.
well,
Besides like
are there
going
freelance like
freelance
engineering
engineers and
jobs?
consultants are more so, I guess they are gigs, but they're like contracted
That's
and
basically
like
what gig is.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're contracted gigs. So I guess it is the same thing, but I don't know. I guess it delivers a product, but so would like a musician delivers a product technically. I don't know. I couldn't figure out what to do.
I'm pretty happy with salary right now, but
Salary man.
Celery man.
Celery man. Who likes their
Celery man?
vegetables?
I hate celery.
I
Show
fuck
me.
with vegetables.
show me Tane nude.
What?
You haven't seen that Tim and Eric sketch?
Oh, with
The
Paul
one
Rudd?
with Paul Rudd, yeah.
I haven't
Yeah.
seen it in a
It's
long
called
time.
Celery Man. It took me so long to realize why it's called Celery Man.
Because of salary man.
Yeah.
I think
so
you
so
said that
good.
on the server like a few months
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
Tim and
jeez.
Eric. Tim and Eric have I don't know. I wouldn't say they have a monopoly on Adult Swim, but they were
For a while,
running.
they were kind
They-
of like
They were like running it for a while.
Yeah.
I never really watched
Running
it.
it,
I
but
never
not
really,
running it. Like everything had to have that Tim and Eric kind of spin, but
that feel.
it didn't have to be
Yeah.
from Tim and Eric.
God.
I was talking to my cousin about this. Our generation owes like a lot, I think, to Adult Swim and like what they kind of brought to like our generation, in my opinion. Like Adult Swim for a while. I mean, there's points where it was just like, here's Family Guy for 3 hours and that's it. But like Toonami and stuff was part of Adult Swim. I liked it a lot. Like anime movies at like midnight, like that was wild. Like to bring to American audiences. Tim and Eric Andre, like all these weird, like niche 15-minute shows. Robot Chicken, like that was kind of like pre-internet ideas, if you think about it, right?
Yeah. I mean, definitely a lot of the later stuff they got from the internet, but they definitely influenced a lot of early internet humor.
And then even like the music, like
Yeah.
like they played more music than MTV probably did at one point.
Yeah, maybe. That's a bold statement, but I would believe it.
Then
Like in the later years of MTV.
I mean, MTV has like midnight rerun, not reruns, but that's when they run all of their like music video segment.
That's how
like
it used to
Headbangers
be.
Balls.
I don't know if that's I'm saying
it doesn't exist anymore. It's just ridiculousness, like 20 hours a day.
Yeah. But then I don't think Adult Swim is really doing music in the evenings or during the day anymore either.
I mean, it's all just in the bumps.
Yeah. Guess what? My comment is more so MTV did not do music for a lot, like ever, and Adult Swim did bumps, and it was like, this is more than MTV does. That's wild, like, and exposes it to more things that isn't just like generic pop or whatever.
Yeah, Adult Swim like leaned into a lot of the. Well, it's funny because Adult Swim and Toonami, they all have like intimate ties with like rap and hip hop and like funk and shit, and like that started to develop that like culture of like, I mean, I guess like black communities being interested in anime. Like Toonami is a huge influence on that. So it's interesting how like you would eventually see like Thundercat and shit doing like happening within bumps on MTV and or not MTV, Adult Swim. And I think I think that's like a really cool subculture of Adult Swim and Toonami. It's like the overlap into like black music. It's pretty intense.
It'd be a really cool playlist if there was like Toonami songs, songs that came out or debuted around Adult Swim, and like artists that came out on Adult Swim. And speaking of playlists, and that's a segue, gentlemen, and that's a segue and a half. Look at Andre, so proud of me.
He's so proud.
Yeah,
his eyes.
That was a segue, all right.
Andres has never met a segue he liked.
They're good ones. I'm just saying that, like, that when you know the topic that you're trying to bring up and you just randomly say, God, I wish there were a playlist of songs from Adult Swim.
Music? What do you mean? I think it's not that bad.
I'm just saying that the subtlety is lacking when you know what point A and point B is. Like,
if you know what you're looking for, you're going to find it.
Yeah.
The title of my latest playlist. Oh, okay.
Playlist.
I don't remember exactly. Playlist. There you go. That's a segue and a half. So our topic this week was to create at least one playlist that was focused on some theme. I've always admired the art of playlist making. Some people really know how to do that. I learned through this. I am not one of those people. It was much harder than I thought. I had like 5 with just 2 songs in it that I just got frustrated with and deleted eventually. And I just submitted 2. Andres and May each submitted 3 within the first fucking day, gentlemen. Great job. Proud of you guys for that one.
I was excited.
Technically, I did 4, but
we're not going to talk about the other one.
One was not. One was definitely a joke. Although
one was not sanctioned within the bylaws of this episode.
Yeah.
Thank you for following the rules as they were made.
For the record, I did not get to that playlist. But for our listeners, it was Andres's collection of longest songs that he likes.
It was my top 10 favorite songs above 10 minutes. And
damn it.
and an additional hour-long song that's just really good.
I don't know if I have a 10-minute song off the top of my head. I think I have a few 8-minute songs I really enjoy. What's that one? Only in Dreams by Weezer. That's a solid fucking song if you want to vibe for a little bit. Anyway, I did this because again, I really admire it. I think there's a lot of things you can do with an idea and how to invoke that idea. Like that's all media is. I have an idea. How do I invoke this idea? So this one was, let's boil it down to just other things people have created, and I want you to listen to it and tell me if you feel it, or tell me what you wanted people to feel, and that's kind of it. Like tell us, you the creator, tell me how you wanted to send this message. There, that's a better way of saying it. So I think as is not pod tradition, because we don't know, every time this changes, I'm just gonna go first and just talk about my 2 playlists. I'm just gonna do that. I'm just gonna give the titles and ideas, and then I'll kick it over to the other guys, or maybe we can do 1 and 1, 1 and 1, 1 and 1.
Sure.
So my main playlist, I made one called An Ode to Summer. I wanted to make a playlist where it really showed me how I feel about summer and like how much it is fun and like just full of different things and different energies and activities at all times. It was when I was younger. Like we're gonna go to the beach this day, we're gonna go to this, we're gonna do this, this, and this. And then towards the end, I wanted it to be songs that were kind of ending, things that we're talking about, like hold on, don't go, or like just feelings of just losing it, like because you don't want summer to end like when you're younger. And even now, like as I kind of experienced my last summer as an adult, because I'm not going back to school and because I'm not doing that anymore, I kind of was just like, this is as bittersweet can be for me. So I really wanted to make something to show off that feeling. We'll talk about each one a bit more after, I guess. I just wanted to introduce that idea. Manny, can you go?
Yeah, so I like Alexi said, I made 3. The first one I made is perhaps my favorite out of all of them. It has a lot of personal meaning, but essentially the theme is surrounding like loss of a relationship or loss of a loved one, and dealing with like the loneliness associated with it. A little bit of like nihilistic pessimism, just like basically like how do you deal with the aftermath of losing someone close to you. And so it's pretty dark, but I had a lot of fun creating it. Um, there's like a lot of songs that are uh like obviously intentionally sad, but then there are some songs that are like very coded in their meanings to both me and other people I know. And I thought the overall like passage of it was like ordering the songs and choosing what songs to go on the playlist was actually very cathartic. But yeah, I really enjoyed making it. It's my first one. Yeah, Andres, kick us off with one of yours.
Okay, the main one I made, it's actually really funny because as I was listening to them, I realized that our main ones are basically follow the same arc.
Yeah.
Mine was focusing on nostalgia and the struggles of really getting over that and realizing you need to move on. So it's basically like 1-to-1 with Alexi's, but mine is a lot more cynical, I'd say.
I feel like we can say that about a lot of our lives.
Yeah, I mean,
I have tried to be the hopeless optimist because I definitely am not that person on the inside. And there's points where I'm like, I feel like Andres loves life more than I do. Some days I'm just so depressed.
That's pretty bold. You put yourself out there as the optimist quite a lot, so
You want to be the change you see in the world. Muhammad Gandhi or whoever the fuck said that.
Muhammad.
Muhammad X.
So
I was gonna say
yeah.
Muhammad Ali, and I bailed halfway through.
So my playlist kind of just is a collection of songs that make me think back to various points in my life, and it kind of, I'll be honest, the way I started it was just picking a few of my favorite songs and trying to see what the theme between them were. So
That's a good way to do it.
So that's kind of what I came up with, is nostalgia. And toward the way I ordered it was trying to be like overly nostalgia and thinking back, that eventually turns into I want to change and move past this, and then the end is kind of like, oh man, it isn't easy to do this at all.
Definitely not. Definitely one of the hardest things in the world to do. God, because I won't say anything else, but yes. Yes. My second playlist I made, and my final one, is I made a thing called the soundtrack for Alexi's movie. I don't know if you guys do this, but like, do you guys make music videos in your head about like every song you listen to, or is it only specific ones?
I've done it a couple of times for like certain songs, but not every song.
Mm-hmm.
Not every song, but there are a lot of songs that I listen to that definitely evoke music videos.
All of these songs I put in this, I have like written rough drafts for music video. Minus, there's one I completely blanked on. Now that I see it, I just remembered it. I had never once in my, like, you ever gotten chills making music, listening to music? You ever gotten that? Listening?
Yeah.
I've only had that happen twice, and that is with the first song, Na Na Na. Like when I first, like, I got hit with the inspiration of like, and really like wrote it down, and I'd never really had that feeling before. And I remember that was just like a big day for me. That was only like 2 years ago, honestly. Like I never really did that, so I really wanted to make this for myself more, and just be like, this is for me to be like proud and try to again keep trying to do more creative things, even though I kind of, it keeps escaping me as I go on. But yeah,
That's
man.
cool. Yeah. I vibe with that.
Thanks, man.
I'll talk more about your playlist because I enjoyed it.
Thanks, man.
So yeah, so I made two more. The first one, or the next one in the order that I made them in, is called Boop Bop, and essentially it's like a weird mix of what I guess you could call like progressive metal, uh jazz, and free improvisation slash like experimental music.
Plus one
It's
harsh noise track in there.
yeah, there's a noise track in here, which some Mertzbau. Gotta love that
Yeah.
Mertzbau. Um, yeah, I had a lot of fun making this one. This one started out very much like Andres, like you were talking about your starting out. In that I just chose a couple of songs that I really liked and tried to figure out what what common threads there were. And I noticed as I was adding like 3 or 4 5 songs that they all centered around, um, like, I mean, for lack of a better phrase, having jazz as a common idiom that, like, influences each subgenre in different ways. So, this album is sort of, or the playlist is very much about, like, different elements of jazz and, like, melodic figuration, um certain forms of like rhythm and just like different forms of expression across like what seem like very disparate genres. Like there are a couple of songs on here that are like straight up like noise, or and then there's like a Joe Satriani song on here. So it's all just sort of like really about the balance between these genres and how they all end up sharing jazz as sort of a common language. Uh, but yeah, it was fun making. It's very some of it's very disjunctive, but that's also sort of my style. So,
3, 2, 1,
uh,
let's jam.
yeah. So,
Andres.
Andres, hit us.
My second playlist, or my other two playlists, I themed towards things that Alexi and Manny would appreciate. My second one was towards Alexi, where it was songs I used to kind of lift my spirits. I titled it "Not Sad This Time?" because as I was making it, I realized a lot of the songs that I listen to lift my spirits aren't exactly happy, but they are up tempo. So, yeah, I mean, as is a pretty simple thing, uh, and all of them do cheer me up, whether or not they're actually supposed to or not. I threw in, I mean, for example, the weird one of the group is probably Number of the Beast by Iron Maiden.
I had it
That was
on while I was
very
working,
weird.
and I was just like, "What the fuck?" Like, this is such a drastic change in the last few songs.
666.
Yeah, but also, like, as the I can get into it more, but the story behind that song in particular was that I was driving home from work one time and it came on, and I literally was smiling like an idiot the entire time it was on because I love that song so much.
There you go.
But what's your last playlist, Manny?
Oh, my last one is also a sort of collection or subgenre of music that is very close to my heart. And it's titled White Girl 2000s. Uh,
So before you go on, I remember when I listened to your playlist 1, I was like, "Fucking shit!" Like, Jesus Christ! And then the next one came on, and I'm like, "This is the best man he's ever gonna get. This is the happiest I'm ever gonna feel. This is so fun. I like some of this shit a lot." And then you hit us with White Girl 2000s, and I was like, "What the fuck is going on?" And I was looking through. I'm like, "I like most of these songs."
yeah, I mean, like the beautiful thing about White Girl 2000s, which I mean, uh, to put it in the perspective, this is not the only White Girl 2000s playlist on Spotify with the exact
Wow,
same
really?
title. There are like there are like dozens of these that specifically say White Girl 2000s. I just wanted to add my own voice into the mix as the white girl that I am. Uh, and yeah, yeah, there are some bangers on here. But the long and short of it is, it's just a collection of some of the poppiest, I arguably some of the most well written like pop songs fronted by like uh women from the 2000s that they all just bang real hard. I mean, you got some Ali and AJ, got some Avril Lavigne, got one Vanessa Carlton track that's quite popular.
I'm so mad you
Uh
don't have any CRJ in there. Like, no, it hurt my heart. No Taylor Swift. Was I right about
I
that one?
I mean, the thing is, I wanted to keep it 2000. Like, I wanted to hit like
That's true.
turn of the century. That was my goal. Is like turn of the century, like Disney Channel. Like you have to know, Hilary Duff has a close place in my heart.
Is that true?
And no, it's a joke between a couple of people, but uh, yeah, "Come Clean" is the first song on the playlist, and it sets the tone for like this like post Disney like white girl shit, and it was
That's what
great.
it was hard.
But yeah, I think we are at Andres's last playlist now.
My last playlist was aimed towards Manny, and it's called "Is It Actually Sad?", which is the flip side of my other one, and it's all songs that I have at one point cried to. And I named it "Is It Actually Sad?" because a lot of them also aren't exactly supposed to be sad, especially the last two, but I just can't remove them from context. I basically it's ordered from most least likely to make me cry to most likely. And what you were saying earlier, Lexi, about the My Chemical Romance song, most of the first few songs on this are from that feeling of like chills, and just like my step up from getting the chills from a song is like starting to tear up a little.
Oh yeah. Yes, I agree with that.
And then the last few songs are just like things with a context that I am not able to remove, and therefore end up crying every time I'm like actually actively listening to the songs.
I will say we do have one overlapping track, which is "Wake Up" by Arcade Fire. That was in my first playlist.
Damn, that shit got me sad.
That's a good song.
I love that song so much, and there's like part of me that's upset that it has that connotation with me. Like I cannot listen to it and not not cry. That was like so many negatives, but basically I cry every time I listen to that song.
That was like so many negatives could be the title of Manny's first playlist.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's some nice things about it.
Before we go into detail about our playlist, I'd like to just go through the ones I tried making. I made one called The Journey, and I was really trying to make a playlist centered on a story. I wanted to write a story with each song like being a scene, and I got to like 4, and I was like, I don't know 9 more songs to put into this that doesn't repeat an artist because I listen to the same artist all the time, or feels like wrong or like shoehorned in. And that was my first week. I swear to God, just like going through it. And then the other one that got pretty far along in conception was Play Before Rebellion, which is basically just like any song I put on that makes me remember my time as a teenager and just fucking hating anything that was going on in my life. It was just like that anger and angst. I really wanted to make that one, and I kind of just lost it. Time got lost with me, and I just couldn't finish it. I might finish them and put them on as when we do social media for this episode, and just be like, here's my extras. But we'll see what happens there. And then I had my the one playlist I'm very proud of, Depression Destroyer, which is 2.5 hours long, and I was like, I don't think I can put that. It's not fair to put that super long.
Yeah, you literally told us not to reuse our already made playlist.
Yes, I was like, I don't want to give you guys any little thing, and I felt it would be unfair if I just pulled from that playlist. Like I pulled songs from it, but like I didn't want to try to redo this. I didn't want to do a remake Hollywood style.
If we're being real, I like created 6 playlists in the
time. As you can see, again, this was hard for me. I don't know why. I just don't have this. I'm not ready to say things are done, I think is a lot of it too. Like I'll conceptualize and I'll be like, oh no, this is important. Like I don't know how to just let it go. And that's a big deal I have.
Yeah, Andres made a couple more playlists. I ended up doing like 1 or 2 more playlists that were. I did like a all covers playlist.
Were you guys just sharing with each other?
I mean, I just made my monthly playlist.
Yeah, you made your monthly one,
and I also put together my yearly one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I just made a couple. I didn't share them.
Okay.
I one of the songs, well, a couple of the songs off of White Girl 2000s was are so popular that they had like really cool covers of them, and so I added those to a playlist. And then I was like, well, I already started it. And covers are surprisingly
fun.
Cool.
There's some really I think Spotify has the Spotify sessions where they really promote people to do covers of things. There's
that's cool.
the AV Club. I think it's the AV Club who on YouTube, and they'll just have people on, and you have to like they have it's called the list, I think, and they'll
Mm.
have like 15 songs, and they'll invite a band, and it's like pick from these 15 songs which one you want to cover, and then so the next person that comes only has 14 to pick, and so eventually like you only have 3 songs. You might not even know the songs, but you have to cover them by like their rules. Um,
Interesting.
that's led to like some really um interesting ones for sure. There's a Spotify covers. I really just want to highlight. I think it's um Drake. It's a Drake song covered by the Arctic Monkeys, and it's really good.
That's fun.
It's really fun.
I'm we can throw our covers. There's a while we're on the topic of like cover
I love
things.
covers. Please go on.
Me too. There's a sort of something like Audio Tree in Australia called Triple J.
I think we're talking about the same. Yeah, Triple J was who I was thinking of first. The AV Club does the list. Yes. Go ahead.
Triple J is great. Triple J brings like they do have a lot of like Australia only acts that come on, but
Because they're in
essen-
Australia. Yeah.
yeah, but they do have like big names come through. Like Childish Gambino did one. He did Tamiya's Into You, which I really love. It's like a stripped down sort of instrumental version of Into You, or So Into You, I think is the correct title there. The other one I wanted to highlight from Triple J is, oh god, it's not. I don't know why I was about to say Denzel Washington. That is not their name.
Denzel Curry.
Yeah. Denzel
Bulls
Curry
on Parade, I'm sure.
doing Bulls on Parade, which I love. Just because he like gets the screams and shit like down so well. It's really good. And then he throws a verse in there that is I'm not familiar with Denzel Curry's rapping style, but it's essentially just all crazy syncopated political shit, and it's pretty great. So yeah. Those are and then Ceres has a cover of 1,000 Miles, and it's like a pop punk version of 1,000 Miles that I really love. So
Oh, that's what it's called. AV Club Undercover. Sorry, I fucked up. I'm
you
not finding their stuff.
undercover.
I don't know if AV Club went down.
I think they're going through changes right now.
Oh, really? They had a few good ones. I think there was a Reggie Watts covers Van Halen, Panama.
That's cool. I like
That seems. Every time I see Reggie Watts, I think of Manny.
Oof.
I'm like, that's Manny. Anyway, so I'm gonna just move straight onto it, and I'm gonna talk about my first playlist, "Ode to Summer." It's my out of these playlists, I'm gonna try just to do a theme. One of my favorite tracks off this one that I put on here, that maybe you guys have never heard of, is "The Cult of Dionysus." I think is one of the catchiest songs I've ever heard in my life. I don't know what it is about it. I think it's really fun and just evokes like this like very upbeat, like funky idea, while also being like, let's just straight up fuck and like do shit, and like who cares about anything else? Let's just like love each other, which I think is a very fun idea for summer, to be like the time of like let it go, and like let's have fun. Like it's summer, like all these things have to happen because it's summer. It's like the best time of the year, and like it's a very odd for sure, but like I really felt that song evoked a great feeling out of me. I wish I had a timestamp to show, but like their chorus, where it goes back and forth between the two lead singers, is one of my favorite things music does, where it's just like two people kind of singing and complimenting each other, and then like singing the chorus together is like one of my favorite parts out of it. I'd love to hear what you guys thought about the playlist.
I thought it was pretty fun. It was definitely a lot more wistful than I thought it was going to be. It was listening to this one, or to your first playlist, that made me realize that almost all of our playlists ended up having a very common theme.
Yeah.
So honestly, I wasn't really quite expecting that, especially with the theme "Ode to Summer."
Yeah, I don't know. It's I didn't know what else to call it. I had one called Beach Episode for a long time, which is just like songs to have fun at the beach. And this I didn't feel like that was what I wanted for this one.
But it's fitting to Ode to Summer. I mean, with both of your guys's, it was kind of funny to see songs that I know pretty well on them. Like, I was pretty surprised to see All Night by Chance the Rapper on there.
That's a bop, brother. That's so good.
Yeah, that's a good song.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty fun too. I was pleasantly surprised to listen to Funky Town so early on.
I love Funky Town, dude. I love Funky
It's
Town.
been so long since I've heard the like full song to Funky Town.
I watched the part in Shrek where they go to Far, Far Away. Is it Shrek 1 or Shrek 2 where they go to Far, Far Away and they play Funky Town?
It's 2.
I think it's 2, right? Shrek 2.
I think
Yeah.
that's 2.
It's 2 for sure. Now that I'm thinking about it. And I was just like, God, I fucking love this song. Like, and it's, again, I put it in the beginning because you travel during the summer. You go places in the summer. You visit Vacation Town. You visit and you do this, and this. Like, you do things and you go to places, which was what I really wanted to like show off. And then the All Night for Andres' previous one, you also get fucked up, and like you go and you drink too much and you do things and you're with your friends, and that's at least what I like to do now, is be with people and not be in my room anymore.
Yeah, that was fun to hear Funky Town. Mostly because the association with it, like once you put it in context of like this being a summertime playlist of some sort, it makes a lot of sense in like a fun context. But it's also like genre wise, it's very different than some of
Yeah.
the other songs that we get. So I think that's
And I also did that again on purpose because
Yeah,
summer
yeah,
is
yeah.
Multiple things. Summer is sometimes you have the summer job and like the summer this that, and the other. Just I don't know. I'm glad I got this. This was kind of came through, if not because it's a little obvious.
Yeah, I just thought it was fun to have the juxtaposition of genres there
Yeah.
a lot. Also like yeah, I knew there were like a lot the songs I know on this playlist I know really well. The
Mhm.
things like Funky Town and like Daylight, Mr. Blue Sky. Uh but some of the other songs on the playlist that I've never heard of, I know like nothing about. Like first time hearing them because I don't know the artist. So it was very nice to get that like extreme juxtaposition where
I
like
really tried to do a splash of like people I'm really listening to.
mhm,
Also, because I feel like I listen to more music during the summer because I'm just putting on speakers,
mm,
and so like the Happy Fits, I just saw them perform last Saturday, and so they're just like in my head right now. They phenomenal shows, phenomenal shows. Um, yeah, so yeah, that one was one like I figured you guys don't listen to the Happy Fits. Like I feel like that's someone you guys definitely don't know, and I was like, I definitely want to include, definitely. I want to include people I like that really mean a lot to me. Good Kid, Happy Fits, and just put
mhm.
them in here front and center. And Front Bottoms. I remember you guys made fun of them for a little bit. And I was like, I like this song a lot. I don't give a shit.
I feel like I'm probably the one that made fun of the Front Bottoms, and
What was the
Yeah.
comment
To
again?
the-
It was something like, I don't remember what it was. I remember you guys said it, and I was just like, dude, but they're
I
fun.
Front bottom fans and what they like.
to preface,
That's
I
the
don't
situation.
listen to the Front Bottoms, so none of what I say about the Front Bottoms is based in anything. It's just based on what I've heard other people say about the Front Bottoms. So I don't know what I'm talking about.
What did they say?
Secondhand anger.
Yeah.
I can
No,
definitely see though if it's like, oh, they have a fan base. It's like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Like a fan base can ruin some things.
no, but overall the playlist I really like that having those like having the front bottoms on here like honestly I know very little about so it's that was a really nice thing and I think that happened actually it happened way less in your second playlist Alexei but
Yeah.
Because I know all the songs. Sans Good Kid, with
Hmm.
aside from Good Kid, because I don't know Good Kid
We'll get
very
to it. We'll get
well.
to it.
Yeah, but that was your playlist was fun.
I wanted
It
to make sure
definitely.
I shouted out the one thing when you're done. Before you finish, the "Don't Dream It's Over" was definitely my like. This is the perfect thing to put at the end, in my opinion. Of just like
Yeah.
this, it's over, but like things are gonna keep going, and now everyone's like, again, like I'm just saying, like, man, we really are just people who miss times of our lives, aren't we? Sorry, man. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
No, that I was gonna bring exactly that up, which is like you ended it on a note that I think like without Don't Dream It's Over, it would have lost that sort of like nostalgia pulling feeling
Mm-hmm.
overall, just because it also brings the energy into a different space. It's a I mean I don't remember the song that well, but it gave me the same feeling I got when I saw the second half of like Jerry Sue's skate part. In that, like the tone shift is just pretty drastic.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
I mean, before it is "Wait a Minute" and "Dos Mimosas," two like pretty upbeat songs and like very different feelings. So I get what you're saying.
yeah. So that's sort of the vibe I got. And I think without Don't Dream It's Over, it would have mostly been like this is summer, lots of stuff happening. It's fun. It's
Yeah.
chaotic. Uh, but that nostalgia feeling would have probably diminished a little bit. So I think it was a cool way to end it.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
I also just
You're
know
welcome.
you love that song
I
in
love that
general,
song.
so
I love that
it
song.
it didn't surprise me to see that on there. But there were a couple songs towards the beginning where if you catch the lyrics, it's definitely a lot like wistful for wanting
Vacation
Yeah.
Town
something
is I want to
else.
be back
That's
where
true. That's
like I want to
true.
be back there.
Yeah. It
Mhm.
definitely is. The Funky Town is not really that.
I want to take you there. The idea and hopefulness of what it could be. Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe I should have switched those. Should have switched those, huh?
In the
That would have been better.
context of this playlist, I definitely Funky Town did kind of catch a different vibe to me though. Like, oh,
yeah. I
won't you
agree.
take me to Funky Town? Like, you're not there already. You need
Yeah,
somebody to
you
take you
need to go
there.
there.
It's
Yeah,
the
you
thing
need to
of
go
we
there.
grew up in this weird sound where there's nothing to do, so people are like, "Where do we go?" It's like, "You go to fucking Funky Town, bro." It's like, "Oh, okay, let's go Funky Town."
Damn, that's some drug reference.
Picking your friends too of like, I really want to hang out more with these guys this summer. Like, I really want to do like, let's go. I want to take you there. I want to make like trying to like establish those friendships for the coming years, etc., etc.
And isn't the verse before the chorus of Funky Town saying like, or basically just, I want to find a place, and then it's like, let me
Mhm.
take you to Funky Town, like.
Yeah. It is wistful. I mean, I'm not trying to deny its
Oh no.
wistfulness.
Yeah, but it's fucking Funky Town.
Yeah, it is Funky
it's
Town.
it's just the connotation of the song outside of the playlist is just so strong
Yeah.
that like you're not gonna flip it entirely, in my
Yeah, I
opinion.
mean, of
You're
course.
excited for it, man. You're excited for summer.
It did make me reflect a little on Funky Town. It's like, oh, maybe this is a cheerful song, but
I want to
maybe
put that. I'm gonna put that in my notes of this song. Oh, I want to talk about the picture I took for this one. When I went running at the beach one time, that's a vulture at the beach,
That's
or like
cool.
a buzzard or something. What the fuck? I was like freaking out when I saw it devouring a dead seal.
Yo, they hungry,
Um,
fam. They hungry.
It made me reflective of Funky Town. Now it's going on the playlist.
Nice. It made me nostalgic for Funky Town.
But also, I think your earlier comment of unrelated to the playlist exactly, but your earlier comment of not knowing when things are finished, I think is kind of a big thing about playlists. Like, I
You go and you
definitely,
add
I definitely
forever.
sent you guys my playlist and then immediately changed it. So,
Yes.
I did that too. But I did it before I think anyone listens, so it's fine. But it's
Because I was just looking at the cover for coloring book on Spotify right now, and I was thinking, oh man, I should have put one of those songs on
God, if
my
you would have
like
put
happy
Same Drugs
playlist.
on, I would have cried. Same Drugs fucks me up. I don't know what it is about it. To me that's another one that's like a perfect like it's about like growing up. To me that's about a breakup. Like that made me so reflective of like a previous relationship of like we're not the same people anymore. We don't do the same things anymore. Like we're different people than when we were back then. And it hurts my fucking heart to think that, and it's like it makes me sad.
Honestly, the song I would have put on there is Finish Line Drown. The drown part is like one of my favorite moments from Chance the Rapper, even though it's not him, it's No Name.
That's a good song.
Let's move on. Before we go, I just want to say my microphone is blue, my sweater's blue, and my knee is black, and so is this thing, and it just looks like I don't know, it's very funny to me. Anyway, man, go ahead with your playlist. This is a visual gag for all the people at home.
Yeah, he's got some visual gags happening. It's pretty
My
nice.
face.
Okay, so we about to hit heavy territory. Oh, I didn't even mention the title of the playlist. It's just Goodbye, but like mirrored.
I really
C-
I thought it was like a P at first. I thought it was like poo bye or something.
Yeah, the
does look
G
like
always
bye.
throws me off so
I get
much when
once
I see
I got it. But
it does look like.
is there no backwards
poo
G in
bye.
like your keyboard?
I mean, I just use some random application on a website to do that. So I don't know how to type backwards on my keyboard. I'm not. What am I, a science person? So this playlist is pretty out there. It tries to be very like emotionally stark, which comes off a little weird. Like I'm actually realizing that like without the context of the playlist, it definitely is just like a lot of sort of like vaguely associated songs. And I think really to like get a theme of loss going, you would have to dig into the lyrics of each of them. Uh I will say like my favorite part about this playlist is finding that Dangers had like a spoken word track on one of their albums. Uh it's just so good. It's also extremely aggressive in terms of emotional content. Uh but it's only 46 seconds long and it starts off the playlist. Uh oh, and I guess like while I'm giving like the quick rundown of the playlist, I finally got to bring up Hospice on this podcast.
I'm gonna say one
Uh
fucking thing about that Hopsa song. That was a good fucking song. All right,
yeah,
Oh,
that
that's
was
they're
a
a
all
good
good
great
song.
songs.
song.
Yeah, I tried to include songs that not only have like some emotional and sort of contextual meaning behind them, but also songs that I just really like too. Um, I think like I started out the playlist by like picking some songs that were emotionally very important to me, and it just so happens that like most of those songs tend to be fun and good songs. Fun is subjective there. I mean like exciting
Thank you.
songs to me. Um, but yeah, we got some Dangers on it. We got the Antlers, which is that Hospice. We have Epilogue from that. Some Touche Amore, The Hotelier, City in Color. Some soft tracks on this, which I wanted to do to pace it out. But yeah, I would love to hear your thoughts on the playlist.
So you said there was a lot of things connected to it. There's a lot of just dudes with acoustic guitars saying things at me on this fucking playlist.
Yeah.
Welcome to emo.
I was just like, man, dude, is this the same fucking guy singing still? Like, is this the same song? I was going and I was just like, I couldn't really, like you, Manny, sometimes I have trouble with the lyrics and I can only listen to like each playlist. Like, I did it once, I tried going for twice, at least with certain songs. The lyrics I think were lost on me. So if there's any ones that like you specifically want to talk about, I think that'd be very helpful for me. But yeah, a lot of just dudes just being like, "I want to strum this Wonderwall." Bum, 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 bum.
There are a couple of those. I mean, I don't really have any like lyrical content that I would like love to touch on. It's sort of just it. I am realizing now that it's every single vocalist on this is a guy. Which I mean, contextually, it wouldn't matter so much if it was not all like some form of like emo or punk or like some like rock dominated aesthetic. I think that that would matter less if that wasn't the case, but unfortunately I don't have any funky towns on here, so.
Anders, what do you think?
I when I don't think I really looked at the track list. So when I put it on for the first time, I was just driving home from work. And obviously the Danger song is like something that I hadn't heard before, but or not obviously, I think I have listened to that album once, but when I heard the first 3 songs, it was just like, oh shit, I wasn't really expecting to know any of these songs, honestly. And then I've like Flowers and You is on my yearly playlist because I've listened to it so many times. Like I love that song.
It's a good song.
And it just reminded me that everybody loves The Hotelier, but I definitely have not been able to get into them. So,
yeah.
I definitely also was only really able to listen to it a handful of times, so I didn't catch all of the acoustic songs, like what the full meaning was of the songs and whatnot, although I can kind of guess based on the theme of the playlist. And then Wake Up would come on and I would just cry, so.
Yeah, that's sort of like a the Hotelier comment. It's something I've like the only song I really vibe with is probably their most popular song, which is Your Deep Rest. Uh all of the other songs off of that album and their other album, they're all they all feel very I don't know what word it is, but it's like they all almost do it for me, but they never like fully reach the point where I'm like, yeah, that was like a great song. I'd love to listen to it again. Um, and I think that's honestly a symptom of like a lot of like emo associated acts. Eh, there's like an issue with like songwriting where like if you're too similar across your entire album, it starts to blend together. And then
Yes.
if you're too dissimilar,
It doesn't bring a
like
cohesive album.
yeah, and I think a lot of what I've encountered with like a lot of punk and emo affiliated acts, like Modern Baseball is one of them. I tried getting into Modern Baseball, and like there's like one album where I just everything feels like the same song, and I'm like, it's really hard for me to really dive in. Um,
Yeah.
but I feel like the Hotelier has that problem.
So I went to 2 shows in the past month. I went to go see a show that was a future funk show, and future funk is a very fun genre. I didn't put any into Otis to summer because I could have probably swapped out 1 or 2. I just didn't think it felt right at the time. Future funk is like electronic funk music. It's very, very fun. A lot of like Japanese influences in there. It sounded like one big song for 3 hours. Very few distinct things. No lyrics. Like very seldom lyrics. So you're just like, I didn't feel it. It wasn't as fun for me. And then we went to another show, and the 3 acts were Snarls, Mags, Happy Fits, and each of them had such different energy, but within themselves, they did feel the same, if that makes sense. Like at one point with Happy Fits, like they do have a cello player, a guitarist, and a drummer, and like that's a unique set of instruments usually. But there was a point where like when the drive home we were talking about it and we were discussing, it just felt like they sound the same if you hear them all back to back played in front of you. Like It's kind of what it is. So I feel like it's definitely just a thing with music, having to make so many songs for an album, you know, becomes that way. Even then, I've heard some EPs where it's like these 3 songs. You only gave me 5 songs, and 3 of them sound the same. 2 are pretty distinct, but 3 are like, if you play them back to back, I couldn't tell you where they are. Eventually, you can just distinguish them and learn each unique thing, but that's also a different problem entirely.
Yeah, I think a lot of it also has to do with how much attention you can give to the music at a given time.
Exactly.
I think that that's something that, like, across all of our playlists, there are different ideas, of how to approach that. There are, like, some playlists where you could listen very passively and they would all feel that way, or they would all feel like they're each distinct and different because there are just so many different genres, associated. And with other ones, I feel like if, like, for example, the one I made, there are enough similarities that, like, there isn't entirely full distinct things, or enough distinction to, like, really separate too much. Um, but yeah, I think that, like, that's like you said, it's a common problem with, like, a lot of music, and
Here's a question. I think about this, and I don't know. Again, um, I'm not in the music industry at all. Do you think there's time where like maybe big labels or something, or people are like, you have to release X number, you have to release minimum number of songs, you have to release minimum time of song or whatever. Like you have to maximize this release, and so maybe sometimes they chug out a song or two that is a bit to themselves formulaic, just so they can fill in time. And like, yeah, they still care about the song, but like and then that's probably true for some artists. I think AWOL Nation said Sale was like, I made a beat I liked, and then I just said random words. For some reason, people fucking liked it. It doesn't mean anything. So inject whatever meaning you want. So I'm sure this does happen, but like, I've always had that thought, maybe ever since hearing him say that, of padding for time. I don't know. I don't know why I'm doing this.
it definitely happens. I think it happens less now that we're in an age where, like, artists can self-release,
Yeah.
without any limitation, but that definitely used to happen, at least.
Yes.
I know it used to. I'm sure it still does. I'm not sure
Yeah.
how. Yeah.
Exactly. Oh no, sorry.
I just know that I've been watching, or I have watched all like 8 hours of the Beatles Get Back, and that's basically the story of them going into the studio saying, okay, we need to make enough songs to perform for this show, because I mean it's less because of the label, more just something that they wanted to do. I think there probably was some label dealings with it, but they had their own label basically by that time. So, but a lot of the beginning of that docu-series, I guess it's called, is them trying to piece together songs as fast as possible, to the point where they're going through songs that they wrote probably 10 years ago just to see if they can
They got
salvage
some
anything.
nugget. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I think there definitely is a push for more major label artists to try to come up with literally anything they can, and it can just end up not really working out sometimes, or end up being just a mishmash, and or being a sale and catching on.
That's crazy. I mean, I wonder like what the idea. That does sound like an interesting idea though, being like maybe they just like, let's make new songs, but then it sounds like they were forcing themselves to do it, because sometimes, under pressure you make a diamond, and it's like maybe they had I don't know what songs came out of that, but I'm sure they had a few hits. I don't know. It's just an idea I was throwing around. I like that there's a lot of actually context to this stuff.
Mhm.
I was surprised I didn't immediately hate hospice. You guys talk about it like it's fucking Voldemort and Harry Potter, and I definitely felt like a nice there was a few songs to me that did invoke a sense of uh for someone who's like had a lot of loss in his life, a sense of peace and a sense of um just like trying to understand your own feelings at the time, like, and maybe I got that through a roundabout way of like, what is this person trying to say? And I could look inward and be like, what am I trying to say? And then the end with the sixth golden ticket, just kind of like anger at times. I just don't know how to say it. Yeah, just like I just need to get this feelings out of there. Again, like a perfect ending for what I think you were trying to go through. At least for what I wanted to interpret for what you were trying to say.
Oh yeah. I did that intentionally. I really
Yeah, perfect.
lyrically and also energy wise, it makes a lot of sense.
Hmm.
Yeah. I was hoping you were saying you actually listened through all of Hospice, the album, because I was gonna be like, oh
I'm sure
damn.
eventually we're gonna do that, so I'm gonna let that happen as it happens.
Nah.
And I just,
Nah, we probably won't. But yeah, thanks. I love the Status Landscape. They're a great band, so
Mhm.
I had wanted to throw them on also as like a yo, listen to this person screaming. Because I didn't really have any songs on this playlist that really hit that level. So I was like, oh yeah, Status Landscape really rounds that out for
Mhm.
me.
Mhm.
Touche Amore has a little bit of it. It
Yeah.
Flowers and You is definitely one of their more softer songs in comparison to the rest of their discography.
Yeah, well, like, Stage 4 overall is a softer album,
Yeah,
which is where that comes from. Uh, but yeah, it's a good album. Uh,
very good album.
yeah.
Um, I'm surprised, Manny, none of yours have any details added to them. No image, no caption.
Yeah,
Just didn't think about it, or like not in any way of like, oh Manny, I see you didn't finish your homework. And why is that? More like, like why? Like to me, that's always the funnest part of any playlist is adding in pictures. I don't know why
Mm.
that, because
I,
no one really sees them, so I'm always just like, here's a little treat for someone.
yeah, I mean, that's true. Part of it was that I ignored it initially because I did them so early. And then
Fair.
once I saw you all add them, I was like, "Oh, maybe I should do it." But I think it's a nice contrast to have as well. I mean, you sort of get an image of what the album art for each of the 4 songs that come immediately on
Especially
the
the
playlist.
Danger's Messy Isn't album. That one, fucking Jesus Christ, that album cover.
Yeah,
It's a Jesus Christ, that album in
that
general, based on
yeah.
the
Really?
concept. The
Yes.
concept is very much related to the album cover.
Oh my god. There's a
And
song called Tarantula Type. I'm not into this album anymore. I'm scared.
it's also relevant to the playlist idea as a whole. That's why I also threw in like this nihilistic pessimism, nihilistic realism thing. Uh
Danger's Kiss with
Dangerous does that.
Spit single cover. It's like a lady with like worms in her mouth. Like it's a drawing of a lady with worms in her mouth. It's pretty cool.
That's cool.
And there's a rhino. There's just like a
Yeah.
fucking rhino.
I mean, the energy that you get from Love Poem, which is the Dangerous track I included, uh energy wise it's really low, but like emotional content wise, that's like the trip for the entire album. So
Okay.
it's pretty like outwardly aggressive with its like look how fucked up everything is.
Why is everything like this?
I would say
Another question.
they're not asking why is everything like this. They're just saying everything is like this, and you're gonna have to deal with it. That's like the
Oh, that's worse. I
yeah.
don't like those. Oh well.
That's nihilistic pessimism for you,
Yeah, you guys need to
really.
get over it. Go eat an ice cream.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some bands I really like. I feel like what just one more thing about this playlist before we move on. Um I really like Polar Bear Club and they don't really get a lot of talk. Uh
I really like their name of this album, Clash Battle Guilt Pride. Like that's an amazing name for an album.
yeah, they're like a New York band that used to be a little bit more scream heavy. but the vocal range of like the lead vocalist is like right in like baritone range, which is pretty low.
Yeah, I definitely really dug the vocals on that song.
Yeah, it's so good. I love the vocalist for Polar Bear Club.
I
Also,
agree with that.
Pawner is also like the quieter point in the playlist because it's sort of just like for most of the song, it's just like these like single crashes and then like sustained with where they sort of fade out and the vocalist singing. It's sort of a quieter point. But yeah, Polar Bear Club, check them out. They're fun. Yeah. Andres, hit us with your first playlist.
Okay, so my first playlist, it's the nostalgia one. I will be upfront in saying this was basically just my way to talk about the song I See It Too by the Brave Little Abacus and Beauty by Awake But Still in Bed. Those are easily, they're on my most played songs of the year because the Spotify Wrapped thing just dropped and they're on my play. They're in the top 5 songs that I've listened to this year. They're also just my favorites. And I was trying to think about why I like both of them so much and what they kind of have in common. And I See It Too really reminds me of growing up in my family house and just like being in the backyard and kind of the way things change over time. At least that's what the lyrics are about. And Beauty is a lot less subtle in its lyricism because you can really just project whatever you want onto I See It Too. The lyrics are pretty cryptic in a sense. But Beauty is very much hit you over the head with the emotional intent of things. So, and that song has a lot to do with nostalgia also, and wanting things to be the way they were, and wondering why they aren't anymore, basically, and whether you should even bother trying to make things better. So I just kind of filled in the gaps from there with a lot of other my favorite songs. And my favorite moment of this playlist is definitely the transition from Lion Eyes by the Eagles to Beauty, because the way Lion Eyes ends is, honey, you can't hide your lying eyes. And I basically included that song for the last verse in general, because I love that last verse. But the way the song ends is, honey, you can't hide your lying eyes. And then the way Beauty starts is immediately, why not? I'll stop talking about it because I could just break down why I put every song in there, because there's various different reasons, but I will refrain.
I'm avoiding that.
Yeah,
because I know we all could. I really I was listening to all this, and then I remember I'm trying to listen to the replacements more, and I do it when I'm at work because I enjoy. What's the lead singer's name?
Paul Westerberg.
I like how he sings. I like that, like, I don't know if it's he's not talking, but like it's almost just like, I like how he says stuff.
It's pretty folksy. Like, I'm not entirely sure what his inspiration was, but we're gonna have to do the replacements episode eventually because
we have to,
because of the cover of this podcast.
Yes.
So I'll explain it I'll explain the band history then, but
I
he's
like that song, and then going into Streetlights by Kanye. I was just listening to my car. I didn't look the track list, and I was just like, man, like I haven't heard Kanye a long time. I haven't heard this song a long time, and I just have always liked that like bum 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 bum. I just like it feels good, and it really does. I just Kanye, but maybe not so much now. But before, he used to be just a person who really could empower a person. Like his speeches at like concerts really were like really empowering to me, and that always makes me think of it. Just like I don't know, I just really needed to say those words because that's what I was feeling when I listened to it again. Man, he saved me from the something I've become.
I won't make the same joke. The track list for the playlist is pretty hip. There's a lot of variants, which I've noticed that like a lot of the playlists that you make on Dress, there's enough of I'm not sure if this is fully intentional or if this is just how your like musical ear works, but there's always a little bit of variance across genres that is not it's not as simple as like here's like something that's associated with Midwest emo and here's something that's like hip hop, but also there's like variants inside of it where you have uh for example, you have like Brave Little Abacus going to Sonic Youth going to the Smashing Pumpkins. And there's like even though those are all like quote unquote rock oriented um like bands with rock as their sort of overarching genre, uh there's always like enough variance in there that it doesn't really feel samey like we were talking about before. So I'm not sure how intentional that is or if it's just like a byproduct of what you listen to. So I
it's
appreciate
kind of
that.
it's kind of both. It's usually pretty intentional, but it's intentional for me because I really the way my musical ear works is when, as we were talking before, when things start to get too samey, it just starts to really blend together. And I really don't I don't like that feeling of listening to something and then looking at my phone and seeing that it's like 3 songs later and I'm just stuck with that feeling of what happened to all the other songs. I didn't even realize that it was different. So I usually just try to avoid that for myself by trying to find little idiosyncrasies maybe that work between songs. And because the way I order my playlist is usually, or the way I start to order my playlist is I listen to the last 10 seconds of a song and then I listen to the start of a song and try to fit them together like a puzzle almost.
Mm-hmm.
And that just kind of takes away the context. What?
I'm trying. I'm also like listening to songs as you're talking, so like a little bit. Can you say that part one more time for me? I'm so sorry. You like to do the beginning and the end, and then work from there.
Well, I usually try to. What I'll do when I'm making a playlist is I'll choose the first song, I'll choose the last song. If I put anything in my playlist where it's like, oh, this pairing is really good, then I'll put that in. But the way I order it usually is I'll listen to the last 10 seconds ish, and then I'll see if it reminds me of any of the other songs on the playlist. And I'll usually just try to fit them together and listen to that like 15 seconds of going from one song to the next. And if it works in my eyes, then I'll just kind of leave it and then listen to the full thing. And if it works, it works.
Interesting. That's so like starkly different from what I do, which is just, what does this make me feel what my title is? Yes. Does this make me feel what my title is? And then going back and like organizing the songs, was something I rarely, if ever, do. So that was like a unique thing for me in this thing. Is Manny, is the same for you, or do you
Uh,
like?
I do what Andres does. Pretty much
Oh,
exactly.
so I'm the weird one.
I listen to like the last 20 or 30 seconds of a song, and then the first 20 or 30 seconds of the next song, and then place them like that. Um,
Interesting.
yeah, there were a couple songs in my playlist that didn't work out that well that way, but I included them just because they meant a lot to me. So, but generally, that's also how I function. Yeah.
The way I ended up kind of constructing this playlist was in like small groups. I definitely wanted to make sections of the playlist.
Yeah, I tried that with the summer one.
So I'd say on my playlist, I See It Too to Springing Leaks is probably one section. Marquee Moon to Streetlights is another section, and then Echo Bravo to Fuck Dantooine is Big is the last one. The joke I made that I didn't explain the playlist really, but the 10 songs above 10 minutes, my favorite one was because I really wanted to put I See It Too on this playlist, and every song I kept thinking of after was about 8 minutes or something like that. So the first 6 songs on my playlist, nothing is below 5 minutes. So I thought that was really kind of stupid, but also really funny. So I made the top 10 playlist as a joke to myself.
It was a cool playlist.
Just to see how long I could make a playlist that did fit in the rules, but not really.
Yeah. I really like the playlist overall. The inclusion of Streetlights was like really nice. Um Mostly because that's like both in terms of nostalgia but also just in terms of like aesthetic shift that's like it's very pleasant to hear. uh Yeah, the Eagles track caught me off guard a little bit in, like, a good way. I just wasn't expecting the Eagles to be on the playlist. I wasn't looking at the track list either.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm an Eagles fan, but there are a couple Eagles songs that I absolutely love, and Lion Eyes is one of them. Mainly because of the last verse, like specifically the lines where he says something like, "Man, oh man, you do know how to arrange things. You're still the same old girl you used to be."
Yeah.
And it's just kind of that vibe of like, you can try to change all you want, but you're gonna kind of end up back in the same place you always end up.
Yeah.
Ow.
That's reality, baby. That's that good shit.
Baby.
And the way I wanted to end on the Marietta song is, it's very much, I love this song so much. It's kind of cynical at times, but also kind of uplifting, and I think that's why I like it, because it plays a little bit of both sides, especially at the end. There's a part where he says, "We'll make it out, it's been too many days. We're all fed up inside our ways." And then immediately goes to "No, we won't. I've tried it once and no, we won't."
Yeah.
And then it finally just ends at, "I've got my head back again." Meaning, like, I mean, it can mean whatever you want it to be, but I always take it as, well, regardless of what it is what it is. It doesn't have to be one or the other, so
Yeah.
I think that's kind of the vibe I was aiming for with the full playlist.
God damn. I mean, yeah, that's in the end. You have to keep going, right?
Yeah. Marietta's I love Marietta too, so it's a good way to end that playlist.
I know all the words to Beauty. Well, it's not hard to know all the words to Streetlights, honestly. But there are a couple songs that I've heard or that I know all the words to. Marquee Moon, Beauty, and a mini theme in this playlist is definitely stuff I listen to when going back or when driving back from work and stuff like that, where I just sing along all the time. So
I really do love your choice for the image of this one. It's really good.
For the listeners out there, the image is a Simpsons reference of
Principal Skinner.
I can't remember exactly what the context of the scene is, but Principal Skinner is he's trying to find Bart or something because I think he ditched school, or he's trying to find some kids, and he's going to all the places that he used to as a kid, and they're all deserted and destroyed, and he's thinking, am I so out of touch with the kids? And the picture I put is the quote where he says, no, it's the children who are wrong.
Which is, I think, is perfect. I think is everything changing? Like, am I wrong for not wanting to change? And it's like, nah, they are.
all my playlist cover pictures are very stupid things that I really find funny.
So good. Yeah, I think I like this playlist a lot. I haven't said it yet, but I really did enjoy just like the range of it. Is like Manny just put it better than I did. The range and like expansiveness that it entices really does play exactly to what I think of you as like this person who listens to like so much music and such different music that it really does like blow me away sometimes, because I still remember like your Halo 3 emblem was the Who, and I was like, oh, I'm just like the rock music, and then like as going on, and I'm just like, I love Kanye, and I was like, who is this? Like, what's happening? Like, I didn't understand at the time because I just don't have that broad of a palette when it comes to music. So every time, like, this is perfect to me of like, here's a sample of Andres's mind is what I think of when I see this playlist.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of songs that are near and dear to my heart, and a lot of bands that are near and dear to my heart.
My heart. I don't know if you guys ever watched the commercials for it. They had the Black Tower series from Stephen King, and they had Idris Elba. He was like, how'd you hit that bullet? And he goes, I don't shoot my eyes, I shoot my heart. And it was just, like, it didn't sound like a real sentence.
It's supposed to be terrible, right?
Apparently, I really do want to read more Stephen King. It seems cool and like kind of verbose and expansive, but I'm just also like, I don't care. Like, I have so much other shit to listen to or read at the same time.
Depends on what Stephen King you read, in my opinion.
Yeah, I've heard like the Gunslinger is like a fun series, and it kind of like speaks to my interest.
Yeah, I feel like you would like that.
Have you read any Stephen King, man?
Yeah, I've read a bit.
Really?
Yeah, my favorite's The Stand. Yeah, read this.
I heard The Stand's really good.
Yeah, it's like the longest. Or I would say if you're like looking for like quote unquote expansive narratives, it's probably the most expansive. Covers like different generations of people going through.
What's like the core theme? Like besides that?
It's basically the apocalypse, for lack of a better word.
Okay. There's one I remember I think it was Jeff from Rooster Teeth describing it, and it was like this woman finds like an alien ship in her backyard, and like the ship like affects people's mind. Like it's
Mhm.
like hearing someone describe the plot makes it sound so much cooler. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
have no idea what book that is.
I mean, there's a little bit of
We'll
that
see.
in The Stand, but
It might be The Stand.
it's not. I don't think it's exactly. I mean, I don't remember
Oh, there's a
that.
TV series. Done. I'll watch that because it's just as good. Dun, 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 dun,
I
dun.
mean, you can. That I was introduced to The Stand through the short like mini series that they had, which is like 6 episodes or something.
Yeah,
Where
from 2020.
oh, that's a new one. I saw one that was like made in like the early 2000s or something. Uh,
Okay.
but yeah, that was like the first piece of Stephen King media I saw. I didn't see like
Hmm.
it or anything. I saw this like the
I
Stand
watched a bit of it.
miniseries. Yeah, yeah, it's cool.
I
Of course,
watched The Shawshank Redemption.
yeah, you can watch Misery. You can get
I've
that.
heard Misery's really good. I've always wanted to watch The Shining also, but I also don't want to watch it at all because I just
It's
don't. I feel like it'd fuck me up.
It's not
it,
that scary.
it's not.
For
It's
some reason, I'm just like, I don't know what it is about this movie. I did kind of like some things I like just not knowing and like not having a too deep an opinion on. Does that make sense?
It does, I think.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's not that scary. It's kind of long, if
I think if
anything.
it's like unsettling, is it just like unsettling a bit?
It has its
That shit
moments.
fucks me up more.
It's the Kubrick method of
Oh yeah.
unsettling. So I think all of his movies are pretty unsettling, but to an extent.
Go watch Full Metal Jacket.
Anyway, so my next one is the soundtrack for Alexi's movie. I basically took some of my favorite songs I've ever heard, and I wrote. I don't try to write them. I really just get anime fight scenes in my head started, and then just kind of go from there. So like na 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 is a series of three heroes going into a base and like doing like a very explosive and like Studio Trigger esque fights and like big explosions full of color. And then the next House Rising Sun is fine, but then I have another one in contrast with it where Pox is about um a gay lover visiting a gay man visiting the graveyard of his lover. I don't know what it was about that like I really wanted to write like watch like a black and white movie about just like death and like the consequences thereof of the people who survive like a pox plague or whatever, and like people getting lost, and then like COVID happened, and I didn't want to talk about that anymore. So like I definitely stopped doing that one. And there's only a few like there's other ones here, but like Knights of Syndodia, I've always had just like that super awesome Western revenge story. Run for Cover is very fun from the Killers. Summer Goddess is a Studio Ghibli animated fight scene I have with a lot of like ballet inspired fighting to go with the different themes of that beautiful song. So yeah, I don't know what it is about this one, but I just really pick songs I like and like have on repeat a lot to go back to.
Mm.
That's a Sidonia does have a music video, right?
Mhm.
Like that's basically what you said.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is. Mine's definitely much more violent, and I'm gonna finish chewing this food before I keep talking.
Please.
Yeah, it's a cool playlist. Definitely got like the sort of energy and sort of like grandeur that's associated with like movies in general.
Mm-hmm.
Most of these songs carry that energy. Knights of Sidonia definitely carries that energy. Na 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 na. I don't know if that's the full title. Uh, that that also carries that energy.
I'm ignoring the obvious jokes of going, no, you missed one or blah blah blah. I think you got it. Good for you.
Great,
Like that's
thank you.
I'm not doing any bits on that one.
Well, it would be
Audience who's
good if
gonna
you
judge me
did
for not making those jokes.
because I don't know.
I will refer to that song only as the My Chemical Romance song.
Yeah, you ended up choosing a lot of like epic style songs. Even like Marigold by Mother Falcon also has a little bit of that.
Marigold, Mother Falcon has a lot of like. Do you know Mother Falcon a lot? Do you understand like? Do
Yeah,
you know
I
them?
do. Yeah.
I tried. I was after I heard Marigold and I think Dirty Summer. I really was like, oh, I'm gonna get into these guys, and it just couldn't do it. I
Yeah.
maybe I'll go back now. I've been listening to I have a good friend of mine. She loves like ballet and like I think she said like French romance is like one of her favorite types of classical music, and I was like, I like this, and then like that led to playlist suggestions on YouTube. I'm getting a head shake from and so I got that like playlist recommendations of like songs to listen to if you're a 17th century villain plotting your revenge, and I was like, okay, like this is exactly what I want to hear, and it made all of my paperwork for that week like so much cooler.
Yeah. I was the reason I was shaking my head is because that's a very particular kind of like music. And like a lot of it can start to blend together. I don't know why that keeps coming up. I was also going to talk about that with regards to Soil and Pimp Sessions. As someone
I was
who
also gonna get a smoothie, a blender smoothie. My joke didn't land well timing wise. Go ahead, Manny. I'm sorry.
I
It's
love blenders for the record. Or I used to.
isn't it so good?
I haven't been
It's
there in a
better than Jamba
while.
Juice.
Yeah, I would agree. I haven't been there in a while, but that
You can bring any container and they'll fill it up for you. Like you buy the size, but like they fill it.
mm.
So like there's 60, their large one. I have like a 32-ounce cup I bring, and they just fill that up, and it's perfect. I'm sorry, I don't want to go on about our local drink stops, but I love blenders.
There we go. We got some blenders love. Blenders. We are a blender sponsored podcast.
You mean it?
Just tag them in every single post for no reason.
Oh,
that'd be a good bit.
oh my god!
Yeah, I was gonna say so. As someone who loves Soil and Pimp Sessions like a lot.
Thank you for introducing to me, by the way.
Oh, you're welcome. As someone who loves them a lot, they have the problem of like a lot of their music sounding very similar because it's all
Yeah,
their like style of jazz, which they like labeled like acid jazz or like death jazz. Uh, they that jazz is very like high energy, but not very rhythmically distinct. It's a lot of like high energy with like very similar harmonies and stuff, uh, and I'm not saying that all music that falls into those like subgenres that Soil and Pimp Sessions made is the same, but the way Soil and Pimp Sessions plays it is very much the same. Uh, Up until like their later albums, like but the first 3 albums of theirs, they blend really, really well together. In that like you can't tell what's happening. You can't tell if they're new tracks, aside from like maybe a new melody or something. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know why I keep bringing up blending. Uh, the Killers was pretty. I love the Killers and Run for Cover. Their newer stuff is, I would say, less well known or like less like
yeah, I
well
agree.
liked. But
I heard this like randomly. I don't even remember where I found Run for Cover.
yeah, I mean that the album that it's from is pretty. I like it, but it's very different. The Killers have the same problem that like a lot of bands have where like they're changing image like every album. And I mean that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it can get a little hard to like really back a band if you like only like one of their albums. I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard to be like I want to go see their shows when I don't know. I don't particularly care for this album, and
Yeah, the album they're promoting
yeah,
or like
yeah,
2 of the other albums that they have under their belt,
yeah,
but
exactly.
you
Yeah, it's
really
better way of
like
saying like
yeah, but you really like this one album by them and it's like, they might only play a couple songs from it.
they had an album come out this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I had
pretty well
no idea.
regarded by critics.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean,
I want to listen to more, but
they're great musicians, like great songwriters too.
mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, yeah. There was a lot of epicness on this album. Uh, I am again convinced that Good Kid is a combination of like Dance Gavin Dance guitar, or like it's like progressive guitar, but like the pop stylings of
I'm
Brendan
gonna do
Urie.
both of their EPs for us soon. Maybe I'm not sure. I'm still like, I don't know. I have certain things I want to do because I'm pretty sure if I asked, at least one of them would be on the pod, and I don't know if like I'm ready to do that yet. And it's like, I also, they're great guys. They're just great guys. They're super cool. I'm so sad I couldn't go to their show. I love them as a band, but Pox is definitely. They talked about how they were nervous about releasing it, and it is definitely like their least regarded song. Like they don't get a lot of like plays on it, and they have other songs kind of within this like lower energy side of themselves that they want to release, and like they get talks from their manager, and they're like, you see what happened? Like if people, and like even within our server, people will be like, yeah, it's just not that good of a song, like directly to the band, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, like you're so rude.
If there's one thing I know about like if there's one thing I've experienced from people who who I mean, I don't want to put like a label on folks because I think that that's weird. But I've run into experiences where like people who listen to a lot of popular music as their primary source, sometimes they can get like very almost as judgmental as like people who like listen to very niche forms of music and like very critic oriented forms of music. So it doesn't surprise me that they would just be like, yeah, this song's not good, don't release it.
I just don't get how people don't understand that these are also people and are just like, I don't know. It's too much for me.
It happens. I mean, like that happens everywhere.
For what it's
Who
worth,
knows how young these people are?
This Good Kid song is definitely up my wheelhouse.
It is.
You want
I like
more
it, yeah.
on dresses to listen to your music, then by all
it's a good
means.
song. I think it's very definitely not their style, and it's good for that too.
Come kiss me through the pod, Good Kid.
Kiss me through the phone.
We'll have a good time.
That intro of the guitars, I like that part. The do 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 do.
Yeah.
And then the lyrics drop. It's a good song. Yeah, I don't have anything else really to say about this. Andres, did you want to say anything?
I definitely, with the My Chemical Romance song and the Knights of Sidonia song, I don't know if I've ever seen the full music video for the My Chemical Romance song.
I don't know if I've ever seen it either.
I've only seen like the beginning of it.
But it's like
I know, like
it's like a death race thing.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. It's like Mad Max.
I definitely took inspiration for when I wrote mine. They have like a team of people, and then they go do a thing. Yeah, it's basically a death race.
On the subject of why you made this playlist, there are definitely groups of songs where when I listen to them, I can only think of the music video. And House of the Rising Sun is actually kind of one of them, because the music video is just like the animals standing in like a line.
Yeah.
Although I really love that song and listen to it a lot when in that era where my Halo icon was the Who Royal Army thing. And also Knights of Sidonia, I can only think of that. But I definitely really like the concept of this playlist where... Because I do get ideas for music videos for some songs I listen to, so I think it's a pretty cool idea to compile them and just think for ideas wise and things of that sort. I'd say I like all the songs. I definitely House of the Rising Sun definitely threw me off a little bit when it came on.
Questions. Like it's such a good
I've
song.
never
It
even
feels
really thought
cool.
of that as a Western song,
Really,
honestly.
I
No.
I something about that guitar. That guitar just to me, cowboys and like
Yeah.
shootouts, east of west type situation.
It
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 makes
gets
sense.
it gets uh it gets painted that way just because of the music that accompanies like westerns.
But they're directly talking about
That
New
too.
Orleans. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
like
well,
New Orleans and stuff and gambling. And New
yeah,
Orleans, I
but
don't think is a cowboy, but gambling and stuff like that to me is cowboys.
I
I
guess.
guess I do like sometimes think of Red Dead Redemption when I'm listening to that song.
Mm-hmm.
Just like that compact little world where you can gamble and stuff like that. But also, when I heard it in the context of this playlist, it made me think of all the times that I've heard it in Vietnam movies.
Yeah, interesting.
There's a there's a thing I made me think of. Um, this podcast I listened to was talking about like let's get in like welcome. Let's all enter the imagination copter. What song's playing as we fly away in imagination copter? And then they name like House of Rising Sun.
Want no. Everybody wants to rule the world. No, that's the Tears for Fears song.
No, the
Do.
what is like name the songs you think of what they play during like war movies?
Definitely anything Creedence
Painted Black.
Clearwater.
Yeah, Chris
Cadence.
Clearwater.
Water.
And then he's like, and the guy just goes, they're all playing at once, and it sounds terrible, and it's just you want to get off the helicopter, but we're never getting off. And that idea of just like all the songs playing at once, just like compacting into this gross noise, sounds hilarious to me. If there's nothing else to say, I do want to say like the moment, a big thing that I had for like the chills for the Na 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 song was, um, there's the part where it's Gerard Way saying basically giving like a monologue about like heroes made of trash or something. I can't even remember the lyrics anymore because I'm just like so embarrassed that I'm actually saying this on the podcast.
Say it.
And I always had the idea of like a villain going up to like the hero and like presenting like you're losing this fight, and then I always had three heroes in it. The other two heroes go and like stop him from doing it, and then there's that moment of like they look at each other and acknowledge like we're gonna die now, and this is what we have to do to stop like this ever coming threat. And going up and they like do some dumb fight thing, and then they like fly into the air, and then they all hug the big monster guy as like they say the final lines of the song, and then they blow up into their own like colors because they each have a different color that represents into it, and it's like rainbow explosion. I got like I'm like that's so stupid, and it's exactly me, and I loved it so much, and I was like emotional when I like like wrote it down and like finally came up with the concept, and now it's impossible for me not to think about my own ideas when I hear this song.
That is very studio trigger now that you say
I
it.
love it. It's just I wish I could, if I could just pay people and just be like, make this for me. I don't want any money back. I don't expect to make money off this, but I just want to like direct this idea. I would do it in a heartbeat, a million times. I also didn't include Bo Burnham's "Welcome to the Internet," because I forgot that I also have to do it for that one too. Oh well, I'm done.
I have a very similar feeling with a song off of a Touche Amore album that I'm forgetting the name of, but I get giddy over shit like that too. Don't worry.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I definitely had the idea for the Kendrick Lamar song For Sale, I think. No.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, For Sale. And eventually they came out with the music video, and it's like, oh, this is kind of what I was thinking of. That's pretty cool.
yeah, that's lit. That's lit.
For the record, the song I was trying to think of is I'd Love to Change the World.
Let's talk about my playlist.
Boop bop.
Yeah, so this is that fresh boop bop. It's got some beep bops and some bloop blops.
I'm bebopping and scatting.
Yeah, I mean, I sort of talked about it earlier, but A lot of the songs on here share a lot of jazz influence in one way or another. Um, and whereas my other playlist was basically all about lyrics and some like general like musical emotional vibes. Uh, this one has no lyrics, or like one song has lyrics in it vaguely. Uh, which is "Senpai, Please Notice Me," I think. But
Senpai.
um,
Yeah, I think so.
yeah. But overall, it's sort of it bounces back and forth quite often between like something that's like prog metal or like melodic like jazz. I call it like jazz metal, even though most people just call it like progressive rock. But like Pliny or like Sithu I or Evan Brewer, like Animals as Leaders is like a technical like progressive metal band. And it goes between those and artists like Anthony Braxton, who's sort of like a free improviser. Soil and Pimp Sessions, which is like this like hyper energetic jazz. Um, and then there's like Mertzbau and Cecilia Lopez who have a little bit more of like an experimental music tinge, but yeah, it's just like a lot of jazzy stuff. Or jazz tangential things.
It's fun, dude.
Yeah? Do you like it?
This is a fun playlist. Yeah, this is shit I like to listen to when it's just like it just
Including
evokes
Merzbow.
stuff.
Yeah, do you like Mertzbau?
What's your take on Merzbow?
Yeah,
I
we
really
need
want to
that. We need
know.
that right now.
Woodpecker #1 remastered.
Yes.
I'll tell you what I didn't like. I didn't like Mertzbau. I'll tell you what else I didn't like. I didn't like. I got tired of Anthony Braxton's to composer John Cage. That was 9.5 fucking minutes. That was I couldn't get through it. I was like, this is too much for my heart. Like I can't. This is so much.
Yeah, that happens. I think like the funny thing about stuff like that is the time, like the length of songs for certain things and certain styles of music just vary so wildly. Uh, a lot of this, like half of this is like pop music, I guess. And pop music being like things that are associated with like jazz or rock or classical music, that like offshoot from that. So like basically all the metal stuff on here. It's like
Is Atlas Novus math rock?
uh Scale the Summit is like a progressive metal group, but they're much more they use a lot of clean stuff. Some of their other songs sound very similar to Atlas Novus. So yeah, I would say it's very math rocky, yeah. It's like
I
prog.
like those songs. I take back what I said. I like those songs.
Mm.
Andres, did you listen to all of the Merzbow Woodpecker #1? To answer the question honestly, please, Your Honor, are under oath.
Yes, you are under oath.
Your Honor, leading the witness. I've always just wanted to say that.
Should this be a question even? I I actually like kind of unironically really like Woodpecker
Really?
#1.
I
Yeah.
couldn't get through it.
Woodpecker, yeah. I mean,
I also had it on my earphones. How'd you play it?
I listened to it in my car, but I've definitely listened to it on several different platforms.
I listened to it on my earphones and I was like, I'm gonna die.
The only song that I've heard on this playlist, although I think I have heard the Cecilia Lopez song once, but the only song I've heard multiple times on this playlist is the Merzbow song.
that's quite funny. Yeah, I mean Mertzbau's like a Japanese noise artist. But
Oh,
they
really?
yeah. I mean the Japan part is the important part of that statement, but
Yeah, that's the part. I was. I makes to me. If you tell me Japan loves noise music, I'd be like, that tracks. I don't know why that makes a lot of sense in my head.
They do.
Yeah, they do.
a lot of the most highly regarded harsh noise people are Japanese. So.
Really?
There's a big subculture.
That makes so much sense. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Japan just likes art in a way that I don't. I'm realizing.
I
as I
mean,
talk more.
the funny thing is America does too. It's just like you don't see it because the things that get promoted here are the popular things, which makes sense just based on how societies work, but also how money works. But that's a different story.
Just to finish my Merzbow take though is listening to it in the context of this playlist, I actually really had a genuinely good time listening to it this time through.
I mean this in the politest way possible.
The only reason I say that is because I have messed around with no input mixing, and it was a legitimate, pretty fun time trying to piece together what he was doing and how he made all these sounds with fairly certain it's only no input mixers just layered over each other. So I found that pretty cool, just trying to pick through the layers. That's just the extent of my... I mean, that's probably as nerdy as I get with music. It's just trying to figure out what's happening in songs.
That's cool.
Yeah. You do.
I just like listening.
You did that with Home Is Where too, which is nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad that the like math prog stuff appealed to you, Alexi. There's like some...
I don't know when I started listening to math rock. But I remember I was specifically at Sebastian's house. We were having a board game night with like 10 people, like more than usual, and I kept putting on math rock. People kept trying to change it because they just like were like, we're tired of play something else. And I was like, but it's so cool, and like it's easy to listen to, and like it's fun. And they're like, stop. I was like, okay, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
I think my favorite part of the juxtaposition between these things is actually coming out of Woodpecker number 1, if you listen to it all the way through, going into Atlas Novus by Scale the Summit, because like the sheer like juxtaposition between what's essentially harsh noise to like this highly melodic, like rhythmic cascading guitar pattern that is very harmonious, is very, very nice to my ears. It's I almost start yeah, I really like that. Initially I had that song switched out for an Animals as Leaders track that does something similar but is a little bit more dissonant, and I was like, "No, I'm just going to make that happen with like the prettier version of that song, which is Atlas Novus." But yeah. I also just included If I Could Fly by Joe Satriani at the end because one, it like rounds out it sort of like speaks a little bit to like this whole jazz influence thing, and Satriani and Pliny are like two guitarists who are noted for like having such strong jazz influences and being like these like progressive like jazz influenced metal artists. And so it sort of fit the bill a little bit. And then I also included it because it's like uh highly contested that If I Could Fly is what Coldplay ripped off for Viva La Vida.
I knew it. I swear to God, when I was listening to that song, I was listening to the chord progression and I felt like I knew exactly where it was going. And it took me a second to realize, is like, why does it feel like I've heard this before? And it was Viva La Vida.
Yeah, it was like a big old lawsuit, and Coldplay ended up settling out of court, but
got 'em.
Yeah. But
like, whether or not they actually copied it, I'm sure they heard it and just had realized they had to take that L because it's 1-to-1.
It is 1-to-1.
And unlike what was it? Vanilla Ice. Have you heard Vanilla Ice explain the difference between Under Pressure and Ice Ice Baby?
No.
You ever seen the video?
I've
No?
never seen him
Oh,
explain
just
it.
you've seen that, right?
I think I have, yeah.
Where it goes, theirs goes dun na 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 na, and ours goes dun na 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 na, and it's just like you said the same thing. Like you said, there was no difference in what you just said. It's really funny.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
But yeah. Also, I front loaded some jazz on this. Was this the first time you heard Soil and Pimp Sessions, or did you know about it before, Alexi?
No, you showed me some sessions a while ago.
Oh, that's good.
And I remember Summer got it specifically. Something about that, just like bum, 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 beep, like that, just felt so fun and like just I really latched onto it.
Yeah.
I would go back and I listen to like other albums, but none of them. I don't know if it's just because Summer Goddess was my first one, or because of just how like long it is and how like every instrument kind of gets its own little part.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I just really, I haven't found a song that replaces that on there, and I haven't listened to enough to be like, oh, this one's also good for this reason, this reason.
Yeah, for the record, for anyone curious, "Summer Goddess" is probably their most popular song. Aside from the song they did with Sheena Ringo, that's the most popular, I think.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I mean for a good reason. Sheena's fucking fantastic. Anyways, yeah. If there are no other questions or comments about this, we can move on. I just had fun making something that was very, very. I'm using my hands right now to go diddly 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 diddly. It's all sort of all over the place.
Feels good. It feels like a perfect opposite spectrum of you. Does that make sense? Like,
I guess so. Yeah.
the first one was this like a lot of lyrics and a lot of like guitar and stuff, and this is like the more complex and experimental part of how I view you.
Yeah. This. I think that's a fair statement. There's a lot of variance in. I like seeing like similarities between things, and I think that I tried to really pull some of those out. Um, Although that probably only makes sense to me, but I think that that's like a symptom of playlists in general. There's always like a balance between personal association and like broad applicability to everyone else, and finding that balance, I think it
Yeah.
is
I think
good if you want to find it. Yeah.
I think there's a very like cohesive through wave, at least to the first few songs on the playlist, that really connect certain genres that I wouldn't really expect to be able to connect that easily, but I did have a pretty good time listening to this playlist, so
That's good. I'm glad. It had a good time being listened to.
Merzbow and everything.
I had a good time being listened to.
Yeah. Shout out to all my noise fans out there. We're trying to represent you, fam. We're trying to represent you. I know we have
I
some
apologize.
music people
Noise
listening
fam.
here.
I'm sorry I'm like this, noise fams.
Okay. We'll invite you on the pod and you can do a full set during one of our episodes.
Oh, I'm busy that day.
That's so unfortunate.
Well, I'll just plug in our no input mixers and go at it.
Hey, that's a good idea.
I can't find mine. Anyway, on to this playlist. I was at somewhere yesterday and people made plans in front of me and I was not invited to those plans. Like, that's what this feels like right now.
Oh, that happens so many times with me. Or the plans are made with the implication that you're invited, but you're not catching on that implication.
Yeah.
Like,
But like, I told them later. I hung out with. It was like a group, and then afterwards, like me and the other guy were like talking at our cars, and I was like, "You guys straight up made plans in front of me and didn't invite." Like that's like I'm not like upset anyway. It's fine. He goes, "Oh my god, I know." Like I wanted to be like, "Why aren't you just texting us? There's people here. Like, what's wrong with you?" Oh well. But then also we knew we would do events and there was kind of an open invite and people were like, I want to go, but I haven't been, I want to be invited. I'm like, we didn't invite you the first time. It's like, yeah, we didn't invite me the next time. And it's like, hold on, like now you're being too much. Like you're expecting so much help.
The story of this podcast in a nutshell. I'm certain with why there hasn't been any new friends or faces.
It's fine. Andres, tell us about your next one.
Yeah, hit us over the face.
So I don't have a whole lot to divulge about this playlist. It's just stuff that when I'm feeling down, it makes me feel better. Without necessarily having to go to the cathartic release of yelling along with the songs or whatever that I tend to also enjoy, which is more my first playlist. These are all just songs that I'm pretty sure at one point I've just had a stupid smile on my face and don't really care about it. Added a question mark to the title called Not Sad This Time, because as I was listening to it, trying to order it, I realized that a lot of the songs are kind of sad, like Age of Consent by New Order is definitely a breakup song.
Yeah.
Fireworks by Animal Collective is very
It's a breakup
bittersweet
song, but you want to hook up with one of them after they break up, so it's a good thing for you. Is that what the goal of that song is?
Age of Consent.
Never mind, cancel because I don't like that title anymore.
No, I mean, it unrelated to the song subject matter. It's a song from one of my favorite skate parts with some of my obviously favorites. It's a shared part by Jerry, Sue, and Louis Barletta. So I love that song so much because of that. So yeah, I mean, there's not a whole lot to explain here without going into every song. The only one I think that most people would need explanation for is the one from K-On! And that's just my favorite opening from K-On! And it's just a whole lot of fun and fun energy. Oh, also the other Japanese name one is my favorite Monogatari series opening. So
Hell yeah.
It's also, I mean, in all fairness, I think it's the best opening, at least from the first season, the first part.
Oh yeah, it's not the most popular one by any means, but it's hands down my favorite of the first side.
The first arc, I guess, of
first season.
Yeah, I was gonna say, the K-On! Opener. I almost think it speaks for itself. It's just so high energy, like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, and if anybody's watched the show with subtitles or knows Japanese, you know that the last bit of the song is very cute, where it's just I love you for loving me too.
Yeah, it's wholesome shit. That's some wholesome shit.
How old is the singer of that song?
Probably
because
in
they
her
sound
30s.
super young. They sound like a child.
Well, I mean, that's voice acting, right?
Yeah, that's kind of
freaks me out.
what Aki Tosaki, that's the voice actor's name. That's what her kind of general voice acting voice is. It's very recognizable. So,
I mean,
I gotta say,
at least it's not Love Live.
We're not going into this again. I really, really loved The Dreamer with like the collab and everything. I really liked that song. I played that one on repeat after I finished this playlist, and it kind of makes me want to listen to more Anderson .Paak. But I don't know. I try and I just can't get with him.
If you're trying to listen to more Anderson .Paak, I'd say Malibu is probably my favorite album still. Or the No Worries one. That one's really cool. It's very old soul-y.
He has just instrumentals for his music. That's pretty cool. For his Oxnard album, he has an Oxnard instrumental, and then the cover art for the instrumental is the same thing, but it takes away the people because they're not singing. I think it's really funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to Anderson .Paak, the local hero.
Yeah, represent.
Really is.
We had Down aka Kilo. We got Anderson .Paak. Those are who we got. We're gonna be
Those
proud.
are 2 boys here at Oxnard.
Oh my god.
Best friends.
That is fitting.
It is very fitting. And then we're not gonna obviously discount Madlib or anything, but still. Like,
I don't even know who that is. That's how much I don't know what you're saying.
Oh man. Maybe we'll get you hip on one of these episodes.
We should. It would be really cool to do like a you know how big MF Doom is. Why don't we just do the shared album?
Oh, we could have David do that one.
Fuck, David.
Wow.
If you're listening, come on to the pod. Anyways.
What about motherfucking this meme you have for the image? Can you explain it to me? Why you picked it?
Oh, it's just a Twitter screenshot I took. Shout out to what's his? I think it's just Lunch Enjoyer at Lunch Enjoyer. He's the host of one of my favorite podcasts about lists. His name's Patrick. He just randomly put that picture, and I thought it was fitting to a playlist about uplifting yourself. Is just the caption is Saturday night turn up, and it's him holding onto a light bulb,
a lit light bulb, like in the fucking ceiling,
which is more than likely really hot. So
oh yeah, burning.
Yeah, I'm really glad I finally heard a Steely Dan song on your playlist when I listened through this.
Yeah.
I was waiting for it. I was like, I wonder which one you're gonna pick
too.
I mean, there's
but
so
I've heard
many.
You sing this song.
It's on Rock Band.
I've heard you sing. That's what it was. I had no idea. I was like, why do I know this song?
Yeah, I mean, I love this song. I missed out on putting Deacon Blues, which is my other favorite Steely Dan song, or Kid Charlemagne. I mean, all those are very.
That's the band.
If it wasn't Bodhisattva, the reason I put that song over anything is because one time going to work, coming back from work, I literally missed my exit on the freeway to get home because I was too into this song.
That's a fair point there.
I didn't take many notes, so that's why my thoughts are so scrambled. Reach Out. I think that's like I love that song. It's just like a motto for my own life. Like I definitely am the guy who usually texts people first and just be like, "Hey, how's it going?" And so hearing it's like an idea of like you have to reach out to your people. You have to like. It just makes me happy. I'm not the only one thinking that. If that makes sense.
Sufjan.
Yeah, that's just like one of the most pleasant songs I've heard in my life, and easily one of my favorite songs to come out this year. Yeah, I just love that song. When I first heard it, it was like, oh my god, this is one of the most beautiful songs I've ever heard. The melodies on that album are the harmonizing in that album is pretty incredible all around. So
it is a bit way to describe it though. It is very pleasant. Like I'd listen to a little bit right now, and it is just like it's just like drinking water when it's hot. Does that make sense? Like it's nice.
That's a lot of Sufjan's music, I think. It's also sort of symptomatic of like this indie classical realm that we haven't really dissected yet, but there's a lot of artists in similar veins that lean into very kind. I don't want to call it kind. I guess like very pleasant sounding harmonies and pitch content and writing. Um, and they all have like vague affiliations with like classical composers. It's sort of cool.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's called indie
That's cool.
classical. Yeah, it's a far cry from Merzbow. Even though they probably, I mean, maybe not Merzbow, but I guarantee you, people like Merzbow know Sufjan personally. uh, yeah, it's a good playlist. I have to say, listening to "The World Is Yours" reminded me why I like New York style hip hop so much. Uh,
Yeah, this is probably the most wide-ranging playlist because I just kind of grabbed things from different points in my life of that make me or that have and still make me happy. Like
mm,
Number of the Beast is definitely the reason why I love that song so much is because it was something I really liked in middle school. So when I hear it now and just hear the over the top guitars and vaudeville is probably the wrong word, but like melodrama that Bruce Dickinson brings. The Makings of You by Curtis Mayfield, the live version, is something that I've loved for a really long time. The World Is Yours too, and Age of Consent. Those are probably the longest connection I've had with songs on this playlist.
mm.
Interesting. It's a fun one. I'd said it before. I appreciated it. I think I listened to this one first from you because I'm a narcissist, but I listened to Manny's Goodbye first as a whole. So I went goodbye to this, and I was like, I needed this. I needed the pick me up.
It's a good balance, I think. Especially starting off with Sufjan. Yeah, it's a good way to balance that.
I don't have a third one. Go ahead, Manny.
Damn. All right.
I'm a bad podcaster.
We hitting it hard with this White Girl Summer. Um so this is my last one, White Girl 2000s. I don't have a lot to say that wasn't already said except I unironically like every song on this playlist a
Dude,
lot.
Unwritten by Natasha Bedingfield. If you go to karaoke and you sing that song, people know that song more than they think they do.
Yeah.
It happened multiple times in Hawaii. My friend Michael, a white man, would sing this and everyone lost their mind because it's so fun. It's just a good song.
I mean, that's the case with I'm going to make the case that that is the case with every song on this album or on this playlist. I think like I think that that's why this I don't think like aesthetically this playlist is great from the point of the music because it does sit roughly in the same space and does one particular thing. But I think that what it does do well is it shows like how in particular like quote unquote like plastic pop music how that can really be fun and engaging and beautiful with the way that you go about writing melodies and harmonies and things like that. Um yeah. That's why I really like this music. I think I like it because it's at an extreme. It's just the extreme that is popular, which is, almost like generic pop music basically. Like generic cookie cutter pop. Uh but I unironically love every song on here. I listen to these songs a lot actually. Um what are there any
That
favorites?
surprises me.
Yeah,
That surprises me so much.
I mean, I just don't talk about it a lot because we have one for the listeners out there, we have a Discord, a fabled Discord server, and
which is just us. Like
which is
it's just
just
us and like other
yeah,
friends.
just really
Yeah,
close
it's just
friends.
when
It's our
people
group chat.
say Discord server, they usually think of like 20 people plus in a server. It's literally just 6 people,
Basically.
7 people.
Yeah, depending on who wants to talk with us. Yeah. 1,
Oh, if we're
2,
talking
3,
people that
4,
actually
5, 6, 7.
participate, it's usually 3
Us.
people at a time.
Yeah.
I want to go and just say that I randomly will sing "I'm Like a Bird" by No Child. I haven't heard that whole song in years, but just like it's good lyrics. I don't know what it is about it. I just enjoy it so much.
Yeah.
All these are nice, pleasant songs in a different way from Reach Out. They're pleasant, just like a vanilla ice cream sort of way. Like it's just nice. It's good.
Yeah. For the record, I know I say this is White Girl 2000s, but Nelly Furtado is Puerto Rican, I think. So I apologize, Nelly, if you're listening. But you are classified as the white girl. We're canceled. We're canceled, folks. This is it.
You're canceled. I'm not a part of this. I'm not singing.
Last
Oh wait, I brought her
episode.
up. Oh no, I brought her up to prove you wrong. See, I'm on your side. Man.
The reason I brought up the Discord server is because we have in the server we talk. We have a chat, a page, whatever, a thread, whatever the fuck they're
A
called.
channel.
Thank you. That's the word. Called Dummy Crazy Music, and all I post is like weird music stuff or like
It's really just for man to post his weird music.
Well, I mean, Andres and I have conversations there.
It really was created just for man to post his weird music.
That's what it was created for, and then Alex
That's a better way of saying it.
Alex started posting like a bunch of random stuff, so it's now just random stuff that is neither dummy or crazy. So
It's just if you're listening to music.
Yeah, so it's now
fine.
just become our music channel basically.
Yeah. But in there I don't post a lot of like a lot of what I listen to. I just end up posting topically.
He really goes for the
relevant
dummy
content.
and crazy parts of his music.
Yeah. And so
I'm trying to get to the top post.
And so I think that White Girl 2000s exemplifies just another side of what I do, which is I enjoy a love song by Sarah Bareilles. I enjoy. Let's see, what's another really aggressive one? Why can't
really aggressive one?
Why can't
Hillary
I?
Duff is the aggressive one, dude. You opened with the most aggressive. I don't know if I know a Hillary Duff song.
You don't know "Come Clean"? You don't know that? That's a jam.
I did before this.
That's a Disney jam.
I don't think so.
Even I've heard "Come Clean," and I'm not sure if I like it still. But
to be fair, it is probably the worst song on this playlist. Because it veers way closer to like the movie star trying to do the singer songwriter career thing. Even though that's not what Hillary Duff does. Like she can actually sing a little bit, but
it's very Disney Channel in all facets.
Yes,
I'm completely wrong. I have heard this song, but I've only heard it referenced through memes, like and other people singing it, and I never connected it till right now.
That's weird. I've never seen a meme of it.
The first time I heard it was on like a Achievement Hunter video where they had a super long video where nothing was happening, and then rain happened in Minecraft, and he just started singing "Let the Rain Fall Down," and I didn't know what that was from until just this very moment.
That's obscure as fuck, but I vibe with it. Yeah. The reason I say this is Disney affiliated is because it also has that Ali and AJ cover of "Do You Believe in Magic," which is from a Disney movie about magicians in a castle where like one of them can do real magic. It's really terrible. It's like really bad. Where like they're all learning magic, but one person in the castle can actually has magical powers. It's as bad as it sounds.
They're doing like illusionist magic, like card tricks, but one kid can like shoot fire out of his hands. Is that what you're saying?
Basically, like one kid can actually manifest a bird out of nothing, but like
Not magic, Michael. Illusion. There's your Arrested Development reference. I don't know if it's the first one, but on this podcast, but I got it in there.
damn, that's a good episode too. But yeah, that's
You really went through the whole spectrum of emotions with these 3 playlists, honestly.
yeah. I mean, like I knew I had to balance out the first playlist.
I'm glad you did.
Just because like the first playlist is deeply personal, deeply emotional, and very like very outwardly it spans there's like a couple of acoustic guitar songs, but it has like the National, like the Saddest Landscape, like Saves the Day, which is like a pop punk band. Like it sort of doesn't really feel like it's doing much, but it's all like lyrically oriented. So I was like, okay, that one is like trying really hard. I want to do something where like the other one is not trying very hard at all. And I think that White Girl 2000s does that, but also successfully because I really just fuck with all of these songs. Yeah.
Again, apologies to Miss Furtado.
Are there songs that people listen to unironically on this playlist besides me?
We're asking one person in this call right now, and that is Andre.
No.
You're not gonna listen to Everybody's Complicated?
The
song.
The one that I probably did enjoy the most is the Liz Phair song.
Damn.
And
that's weird. But I fuck with it.
And it's probably because I hadn't heard it before, if I'm being honest.
Okay, that's interesting.
The rest of this playlist is basically just my relationship with Fall Out Boy, where I've heard it so many times that I don't mind the songs like I do with certain Fall Out Boy songs, but I don't need to listen to a lot of these songs again. Like I've never a hot take probably, but I've never understood the hype about 1,000 Miles. I think there are many better songs as evidenced by this playlist. I think there are a lot better songs than 1,000 Miles out there.
I would agree.
And I don't know why that one's the
White Chicks?
like most popular. Oh,
it's White Chicks for
White
sure.
Chicks,
it's White
probably?
Chicks.
It's White Chicks.
White Chicks?
100% White Chicks.
It's White
And
Chicks.
that music video, hilarious.
And it's
Well, do you remember the music video?
I do.
It's her on the piano, right?
Yeah.
But it's like she's like driving a car basically.
It's-
And so she's like speeding through the freeway with the
yeah.
piano. That I laughed my ass off when I first saw that one.
Yeah, they ended like putting a piano on like a pickup to a truck or something, and like just taking it down New York City streets or something. But it is really funny seeing a piano go like 30 on a street.
But aside from the Disney ones, I'm pretty sure at one point all of these songs were number 1 on the VH1 Top 20 countdown for music videos, and I used to watch that religiously when I was a kid, so I'm pretty sure I've heard all these songs at least
or
like 10 times.
that's true. Or they were on hit clips.
They're all so good. Honestly, they're so fun.
Yeah.
I have a weird tangent again. Do you guys remember VH1's I Love the 80s, I Love the 90s, I Love the 1000s? Remember that?
I do.
Yeah.
I loved those. I don't know where to watch them again.
YouTube.
Like, I tried finding them on YouTube, and I need to Google it again. That was a few years ago.
I'm sure you could find them on something wacky like Daily Motion or something like that.
Yeah, right? Like, it's gotta be.
You could probably
it was
find
just so
it.
good.
You could probably find it on a torrent.
It's called a
site.
documentary. I guess that does make perfect sense, but I don't like it. Oh!
Also, the I Love the Thousands one is I Love the New Millennium.
I love the new millennium.
Oh my god. It's on here.
And then it has like robot sounds playing. It's like real fucking
Yeah.
pretty.
I just like that they're like you would get introduced to like some people for like one segment. Basically they just got celebrities, asked them questions, and the celebrities would talk and be entertaining.
Yeah, it's
And that
a
was it. But like sometimes you'd only see them for like one part of the episode. So like they just had bad answers for the other ones, or like were just uninteresting. So that part always made me laugh. Of like, there's XYZ celebrity. Never again was she allowed to show up.
yeah. That's almost sort of how I feel about some of these songs. Is like they come and they go. Uh,
But when they're here, they're family.
I mean, basically, yeah.
And Olive Garden.
I'll say for the record that I particularly don't like the Disney Channel ones, if I'm being honest.
You don't like Disney Channel.
That's a good call. That's a good call.
The way that they're produced just like leaves a horrible taste in my mouth.
Yeah, it's almost like chewing on a bitter flower or something.
Yeah, but the rest, if it comes on, I don't have a problem with it. I just it just isn't. I'm not gonna like jam out or anything. I'll like nod my head or something. Just be like, yeah, this is all right.
If I could fall into the sky. God damn, dude, that comes on in karaoke. Lex is getting naked. Lex is getting arrested.
I think my favorite song on here is either Breakaway or Love Song. But Breakaway is like the quintessential like angst, let me escape song.
I don't like Black Horse and the Cherry Tree like that much, but like when it like that initial one is like ooh oh, and then like I don't care more about the song. Like,
that's probably one of my favorites of this playlist. If I'm being honest,
I don't know what she's. I've never listened to it like with the critical ear. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean she finds a horse.
I don't really think you're supposed to listen to any of these all that critically.
No, you're not. It's like a cover of like a quasi.
Oh shit!
It's like a cover of a quasi soul song or like one of the old.
Oh my god!
Like rhythm and blues, like it's an old blues song, I should say.
You're so stupid. She finds a horse.
I swear to Gorge.
I know, but it's just the way you
she
said
finds
it.
a horse.
I'm so hungry. I'm so hungry and my stomach laughing hurts. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like I'm still laughing at she found a horse.
I mean it's a for what it's worth, I think out of all of the songs on here, it's probably the one with a life outside of like this normalized cookie cutter plastic pop music. So yeah, but
just I love the little jabs we're getting in with these guys.
I mean, I'm jabbing it because I've talked them up enough. I also want to be real and be like, yeah, these are Britney Spears, but in different genres, basically. But yeah, that's all I have to say about this. I think we all understand what these songs are, and some of them may be fun. Andres, hit us with the final playlist, unless you have anything else to say.
I do fuck with the Nelly Furtado song "Promiscuous Girl" just for.
Oh yeah, dude.
That's a song for sure.
God, dude. Dude, Timbaland makes some good fucking music. I'll say that.
If we could have a whole episode on Timbaland, no doubt.
Can we? He has like a pretty diverse thing, right?
Yeah,
I'm not bringing it. You bring it to me.
I don't want to bring it because then I'll just talk about the Fall Out Boy collab.
Love it. Let's do that. Just his face.
I respect Timbaland a lot, but he's also done some damage.
Yeah,
because every time I think about Timbaland, I can only think about what happened with Chris Cornell's career.
Oh my, yes, that would be something we'd have to cover in that episode.
That was a real misstep on many people's parts. Rest in peace, Chris Cornell.
Yeah, rip.
Andres, I need you to know that I assume you love the image you picked for this playlist so much. Like, it's so perfectly on brand
Yeah,
for you.
yeah.
It's like so amazing.
We had to do it to him, you know? We had to do
For
it.
the listeners out there to edit from a screenshot of K-On! Of one of the characters doing the, I had to do it to him pose.
Oh my god.
Superimposed onto the background of that photo.
Yeah. Oh man. I do love this picture so much. and it was K-On! And I had to do it to him. So
It's
I
like
had
too good.
I had
for
to
you.
put it on my Is It Actually Sad playlist. Yeah, I mean, same with the last one. I don't really have a whole lot to describe for this one. It's just songs that some make me sad, some make me happy, and I cry tears of joy, but they all are able to bring tears to my eyes at one point. Any questions?
For some reason, I remember only one not being that song. Is there another song with Kanye West, Paul McCartney, and maybe like Rihanna or something?
4 or 5 seconds.
I know that
is
song
the
way
one.
better than Only
I don't like that
One.
song that much.
I like Only One way
4
more though.
Oh, Only One. The one thing I will say is it was a toss-up for the Kanye and Beatles songs, because there are multiple songs that make me cry from both artists, but it is going against the playlist if I were to include multiple, so I went with the ones that do it more consistently. Replacements for Kanye could have been Roses and Hey Mama.
Oh no.
Replacements for the Beatles could have been Dear Prudence and Golden Slumbers.
Yeah.
There's a lot of anime songs on here, because I think as much as I've talked about on this podcast, the anime definitely does tend to hit me in the tear ducts a lot.
Is this the closest we're gonna get to a ping pong episode?
We're doing ping pong.
But we're doing.
There's no way we're not doing ping pong.
Good. I'm glad I'm not crazy.
I'll let Andres be. Andres can do the first half of ping pong, and then I'll recommend the second half. I'll just give up my episode because we have to do ping pong. He's pointing.
Oh, I see it. Oh yeah, there it is.
Oh, I thought I thought something was happening. I got scared.
I love that poster.
Enhance poster. It's my ping pong poster that Manny got me.
Yeah.
Enhance.
I love that
poster. This is really funny. I really love. I just want to bring it up. One, I really did like Wacky Misadventures of the Passenger, and I really love titles. One, like I love the song. Perfect for me, high energy song. It's like good. I haven't gone too deep into the lyrics, but like I'm trying to get into screamo a bit more, and I think this is like one of those passageways for me. But like some albums and some song titles have such badass fucking like Cosmic Thrill Seekers, amazing. Chance the Rapper's Acid Rap, an amazing song title. There's a few other ones in the other playlist I don't want to go back for. Arcade Fire's Funeral, that's just devastatingly powerful. Like it's like they're all good, and I just think that having a good name means so much.
I'm definitely gonna do an episode on Cosmic Thrill Seekers. That album is incredible.
Okay.
I'm glad.
The top songs, the bum music industry song, I can't even explain why it makes me tear up, but like just that overwhelming feeling when the song like builds up to its peak finally.
Yeah, that's good.
Always just like kind of gives me the vapors.
The vapors.
It's just like when it's just like I shouldn't have worn shorts, and it's like it like overwhelms me to the point of tears, which is very special. Wacky Misadventures of the Passengers is literally in the lyrics, so like the last part. The last two songs are very obviously connected to my association with the anime. And I imagine that the
I
K-On!
don't know.
Song.
I'm sorry. My association with the anime. It just sounds like I don't know what it was, but that cadence of that sentence was really funny to me.
I'm
Go on.
He
I'm
gotcha.
fairly certain without the context, the K-On! Song doesn't really have an effect on anybody, is my theory, but I don't know that song without the context of the show, and it means a whole lot to me because of the show, so
I feel like it would mean the same to someone else who feels really strongly about the show, you know?
oh yeah, definitely. But I'm saying for somebody who has no idea what it, who has never watched K-On!, I feel like there's no real, it doesn't really do anything.
Yeah, I did look up the translation of the lyrics, I think, at one point, and I could, like, vaguely see how it was associated, but well, like, with the feelings that you feel, but it doesn't necessarily have that same impact. Uh,
Yeah, definitely.
yeah. Same with Ping Pong, uh, the Ping Pong track, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah, 100%. Although the translated lyrics to that song are just kind of
They're closer.
would still probably affect me, honestly, because it's very much just the same vibe as Golden Slumbers by the Beatles, where just that, like the nursery rhyme type vibe, those always get me, just usually
Really?
because of the nativity of them and how
Yeah.
beautiful it is.
Mhm. The Again, like a very diverse collection of genres represented, but I think that that's like the benefit of making playlists like this, where like your theme is not necessarily built around an aesthetic or an image, but rather like a conceptual idea.
It
Um,
really shows the range of people, or lack thereof in my case. In the fact that I only had two playlists. Well, I think if that's it for us, I'm really glad you two had. I really did this for you guys to show me cool music, and for me to show you guys what I like. Because I mean, yeah, this is whole podcast. There's a lot of music on here, but sometimes I feel like a single can do more for me than an album can.
mm,
Um, and if I think that it's true for a lot of people, it's more digestible. But yeah, I had a lot of fun, and I hope. One of my biggest hopes is that like you guys get a song from my stuff that you add to yours, because I definitely have added a few to my like songs as I mentioned earlier. Wacky Misadventure Passenger, 24 Hour Drive Through, The Dreamer. A few of them were just like really fun.
I'm glad you like the Origami Angel song.
yeah,
I liked that one a
it's
lot.
a good song.
And then I added that hospice song even.
It's a
But like
interesting
not
ad.
to my liked playlist, but to my sad time. My sad playlist.
It is definitely the end. It's definitely the epilogue.
But yeah, I think that's it. And if you guys have any thoughts about these, I think we are kind of closed it out. So if not, I'm ready for Manny to recommend us whatever he's recommending us.
All right. That's a fucking segue unless Andres has something to say. Got something to say, boy?
No.
All right. Um okay, so I have I have two possible options and I would like your input on it. Um
Who do you think you are? Me?
I'm learning, I'm adapting.
Have become what they have hated themselves.
Yes. So
I'm sorry.
I've
I'm sorry. I'm the way that I am.
I have two options for you. One is a very okay. So we're gonna do a manga. So that's what we're doing.
Among Us is what I thought you said.
We're doing Among Us.
I thought for a second too.
And I was like, are we just gonna play Among Us? I mean, we kind of did that with asymmetrical gaming. I feel like that doesn't
Among
count.
Us.
Like,
We can't do it again. Okay, so we're gonna do a manga. So you can choose a manga that is a self-contained thing by a really famous mangaka, or you can choose something that is a series by a lesser-known mangaka. And we'll do a couple of volumes from that.
So the first option is like a one shot or like a one volume run.
It's a one shot. And the other one is a series. They are both horror manga.
Out of contrast to the things we've read, just to say something different, I don't think we've done a contained story, have we? Besides, like, manga wise, like we've watched movies.
Yeah, it feels much more like a movie than a series. If I want to put it that way, yeah.
Okay, my vote's for that one, just because it's different.
Okay, I'll leave it up to you, Andres. What are you feeling? I can go either way.
Oh God!
You wanted the series?
Actually, I have a preference. So if
perfect.
But I want to hear what Andres has to say, and if Andres is feeling like one over the other makes sense, then we'll do that.
I don't know. I mean,
one's really famous, and one is like not that well known.
I can kind of guess what the really famous one is, but
I have no idea. Audience, I'm lost too.
It's definitely on you. I typically would say I like the series more, but that's probably just because of back into my manga reading bullshit. So
okay, that's good to know. So is that what you would? Is that what you're feeling?
I'd probably prefer that, but I can go either way, obviously.
Okay, so I was leaning towards the lesser known one. So we are going to do the series by the lesser known mangaka. The series is called Blood on the Tracks. It's by Shuzo Oshimi.
It's the name of a Bob Dylan album.
It is. So I'm super excited for this because Shuzo Oshimi is a mangaka that does horror exclusively, but it always has this like psychological and humanist side to the horror.
It's not like monsters and stuff. It's people.
It's people. So be prepared.
It's getting a live action movie.
Yeah, be prepared. The long and short of it is that it's a manga series that doesn't feel like a lot is happening at times, but the things that do happen are like extremely fucked. And it doesn't really pull its punches at all.
For the audience, are there any trigger warnings we should be aware of? That way they don't read this?
If you have a bad if you have an extremely abusive relationship with your parent, do not read this.
Okay.
That's a little bit of a spoiler, but not.
I feel like it's necessary.
I think it's necessary. The story is about a mother and her child. Let's just put it that way.
Okay.
I would really love to read the first 3 volumes, if that's okay. I don't know how you feel about that. That's one longer.
How long are they?
They're standard size.
Is that important to you to get to the first 3?
Yeah, I mean, the second volume is a little bit of a lull. So the third one wraps that second volume in really nicely. And I think like some stuff happens in the first volume that definitely sets up the stuff that happens in volumes 2 and 3. And I think without the third volume, the review or the sussing out we do would be very surface level. It just doesn't make a lot of sense without like the third volume. Because you get like a really good feel for what the rest of the series is like with 3 volumes, but with 2 volumes, it feels a little shallow.
Andres, how you feeling? Do you think you could do it?
I could probably do it just because I'm literally about to finish catching up with the manga I'm reading. So
I can probably do it.
Okay, great. Yeah. Don't read this with your parents. This is a manga that will you're I think this is a very polarizing manga. I think you're either gonna like what it does, or you're gonna just hate everything about the manga, except maybe the pretty pictures. Uh,
had a really nice cover art. I can say that much from what you've shown us.
yeah, it's great. It really is it's a psychological horror manga. It's about a family. Um, we'll see how that plays out for you all. If it has any effect, or if it's just feels very boring, but we'll see.
Well, here we go again.
The other option was Uzumaki by Junji Ito. So
Oh, I read Uzumaki.
yeah,
Yeah.
so I figured it would be better to go with the one that probably we haven't read, because I'm pretty sure I was like pretty sure one of you had read Uzumaki, and I was like, okay, just
I read
I haven't
Uzumaki.
read it, but I definitely know about
I
it.
read Uzumaki and I have opinions.
well, we can Junji Ito's work is being held up as sort of the gold standard lately for horror, so we will see.
I feel like it's held up because the art's really cool and fun, but like I don't know if his writing's the best. Right? Like there's times where you're like
I mean,
like what's that mountain one where they have to go the whole mountain
and the enigma of something fault.
of something fault or
Yeah.
whatever? That one doesn't scare me at all.
Yeah, I mean,
And some people are like, it's so horrifying. I'm like, you've never read horror, and so that's why you're scared about this.
I mean, the beauty of Junji Ito's writing is really the same thing that makes like pulp horror, pulp sci-fi horror so popular, which is that it's like chewable, it's episodic, it's quick and dirty.
Yeah.
It's very like H.P. Lovecraft inspired. It's Lovecraftian. So we can talk more about that, because this manga series is definitely not that.
Can I have one moment to talk about the grossest thing I've ever read from Junji Ito? There's a part where like a brother has a bunch of pimples
Yeah.
or something, and he like goes up to like someone else and then just like squishes his face, and like all the gross stuff comes out of his face. And I was
I
just
think
like,
I've seen that.
I'm gonna
panel.
throw up. Like I was like repulsed.
Yeah.
And then he becomes like a slug or something. I think it's Uzumaki.
It probably is.
That was the one time I was like, this is not okay.
Yeah. What
Like monsters are fine. That's just nasty.
I mean, I'll make this case in a week, but as a small little influencing opinion, I feel that what Junji Ito does for body horror, Shuzo Oshimi does for psychological horror.
Okay.
So there are just scenes that are like absolutely they do not pull the punches, and the whole pimple thing, like where that gives you that visceral gut reaction, there are some of those in this series. So
Okay.
you might have a good time or a terrible time depending on how you view horror, I guess.
We'll see. I definitely have. I've been reading some stuff kind of parallel to this actually. Have you read Boys Abyss yet, Manny?
Oh, I know of, but I haven't read it. No.
It's pretty weird.
That would make sense. So it'll be fun. I can't actually. I'm really excited to share with you the other series that Shuzo Oshimi does. They're like
The art seems so familiar. I feel like I know it.
I mean,
I don't. I'm gonna look.
we don't have to talk about it, but
because I don't think I know it. I feel like I've just seen stuff about it.
the other series are Happiness and The Flowers of Evil, that are the two really popular ones.
I've heard of the Flower of Evil.
Yeah,
Akunohana, right?
That one is probably Shuzo Oshimi's like claim to fame there lately.
There's a lot of cool stuff here.
Yeah. There's we'll talk about it more, but the mangaka's great. So.
Okay.
So enjoy your sad times.
Enjoy your sad times, but before that, let's get to the plugs.
at SUSSED on everything. Follow us on YouTube. Follow us on Twitter for inane posting. Follow us on Instagram for actual substance if you want more episode notes.
Yeah, we will have these playlists in some way to access them. I think would that be fair? I think we are planning.
think we can easily-
I have I made a Spotify account for the podcast, and we can just copy all
Like
the playlists onto
podcast.
that.
Yeah, I will probably add some cover photos and stuff. I'll add the description. I didn't add it because
Add the covers playlist too. Add the other ones.
fuck it, we'll add all of them.
Yeah, why not? I'll make some to make up for me missing it.
Yeah, I just
I'll
want
also probably post the song list on Instagram and Twitter when this episode comes out.
Yeah, I'll definitely add the descriptions to the playlist at the very least, because I shared it with you all, but I didn't share it with the world. So
The world. Go watch JoJo. I haven't done
The
that,
new
but you should.
season's out. Or
the
half of the new season's out. I don't know. I haven't watched it.
Was it a big episode dump type thing, or was it? Is it weekly?
It was a big episode dump because I've read the manga and I keep seeing screenshots on Instagram from things that happen in the manga, and it's like, oh man, they got really far with this. I haven't watched it yet though, but shouts out to Stone Ocean.
Yeah,
I don't know how I feel about that arc, but it's JoJo.
go
It's JoJo.
go try making a playlist, everyone.
Go make a playlist and then send it to us on any of our social medias, preferably Instagram, and we'll give it a listen and review it or whatever the fuck we want to do.
Yeah, please interact with us.
Yeah.
Please
If
say
you send
hi.
anything, on Twitter, it's going to be directly to me most of the time.
We should do plugs in the beginning.
Wow, it's almost
we want to like really do
it's
this.
almost like we have
Guys,
shit
we had
to
10
do.
episodes come out. I don't know why the fuck we didn't even say like 10 episodes came out. That's why.
Yeah, we got
Yeah.
some shit out there. We got more shit coming. We're like how many episodes behind? Want to give the audience a sneak peek? We have by the time you
this is
hear it,
episode 17.
yeah, by the time you hear it, we'll probably be 6 episodes ahead of this. So
Who's to say? Honestly, it's hard to
Who's
hard
to
to
say?
figure out.
so follow us so we can have those 26 episodes ready for you, ready to go. 20 episodes, whatever. 23 episodes. I can't count. We're building them up, fam.
Yeah, just
And the podcast right there. And the Rams, man. Don't do it. What do you need to say, Andres?
Oh, please just interact with us on Instagram.
Please.
Show me some that anybody is seeing these posts, honestly.
If anyone is listening, if anyone's out there listening, please interact.